Shalom Yashrala. Just a moment. Bear with me, I'm running a little late today. But we're gonna get it on. As always. In the spirit of the Most High, while my Shakel was shy, while some of my Shakel was shy. You don't know things. We have a high topic for you tonight, so don't go nowhere. I see people are leaving. Okay, well. You know, Israel, impatient boy. If they figure, well, it'll be live, I'll come back and get it later. You have that opportunity. Because when I came up, you had to sit there in that chair and wait. No matter how long it took. We patiently waited to get whatever we need to get this truth. No problem. Yeah. One more thing I got to just want to. All right, we're gonna be dealing with a few spirits tonight that's in people, and quite sure some of you can recognize them. Some might be in some of you. Hopefully not, but we gonna deal with it. How I deal with it. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it or make it any other way than what it is. Point blank. That's how we roll. It's shield of wisdom. Point blank. It never stops. It's gonna be the same way. And I hope that you'll be able to make it through it. These spirits. Be dealing with lasciviousness, which is unabridged, unbridled lust. You know, man-made diseases. We're gonna deal with STDs, sex to death. You don't see me, people. What do they do when they have STDs? Do they inquire who has STDs to be able to get together? And once they do, they create all these different variations of STDs that laugh at all the medications that they can actually try and treat because it done mutated to another level. Oh yeah. It's a lot we're gonna cover in these spirits, and the plagues that the Most High say gonna bring on this earth behind people not really dealing with how they should deal with in these last days pertaining to coming back to the Most High. But it's very important because we as a people, the Israelites, are ordained to be that light to everyone, the whole world, the world of Israel, first and foremost, and everyone else that's really listening to be able to understand what this Bible is talking about, first and foremost, about the Most High, of Mashiach Yahushua, and the children of Israel, and anyone else that falls into our perspective of how they fit into our nation. The 12 tribes of Israel, who is Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Simeon, Zebulun, Ephraim, Manasseh, Gad, Reuben, Naphtali, Asher, and Issachar. Those 12 tribes, who the Most High say, the power of Israel. So it's a lot of things like you're looking at, like I say, that lasciviousness. We're gonna look at that first because that's like unbridled lust. It's really important that we look at these things, and a lot of people don't want to cover it because they're dealing with it. You know what I mean? It's like certain things that they just not going to talk about because of the fact of they involved in it. But it's real. Shameful immorality, doing things that's off in the eyes of the Most High. So we're going to look at Colossians 3:17 as always. Go to Colossians 3:17. And throughout everyone for joining me for this. Well, I know, like a lot of times I deal with certain topics, bing, people be leaving, bing, they don't want to hear it, but you're going to have to be held accountable because you had a chance to hear it and you didn't. Colossians 3:17, pay attention. And whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all by Shama Mashiach Yahushua. Give me thanks to the Most High and the Father by Shama Mashiach Yahushua. That's how we give thanks to the Most High by Mashiach Yahushua in the name of the Lord and Savior. So let's jump up to verse 5. Everything that we say is going to be in the name of the Lord and Savior. That's how we reach the Most High. Say, no man come to the Father but by me. There is no New Testament when he's saying it, but people can't grasp that because it's too easy. It's too simple. The simplicity of a Mashiach Yahushua probably go over their head. I want you to understand it's real. Colossians 3:5. Mortify therefore your members which are upon the earth. We say mortify. It's very important that you see this, put to death, leave it alone. Your members which are upon the earth, fornication, leave it alone, don't do it. Uncleanness, leave it alone, don't do inordinate affection. That's what we're talking about, lasciviousness, inordinate affection, unbridled love, lust, and call it love. Evil concupiscences, man. Evil concupiscences, desires, man, evil desires. And covetousness, desiring something that someone else has, which is idolatry. You see, all these things that we're going to look at is how people are, and it means a lot that you not be this way, or like it's just saying, you put it to death, leave it alone, don't do it. Or for which things sake the wrath of the Most High cometh on the children of disobedience. You see, the children of disobedience are doing these things: fornication, uncleanness, inordinate affection, evil concupiscence, and covetousness, which is idolatry, it says. You know, idolatry is against the Most High while Mashiach ever shy, and he's going to throw you in the lake of fire, point blank. Ain't no hope. Remember, in the judgment, there's no mercy and grace in the judgment. We all going to receive for what we have done in these mortal bodies. That's what I say, mortify therefore your members, you know, which are upon the earth. We're on the earth in the flesh right now. So he said, mortify. You know, you got to look at this, because if not, then you're going to continue to do the same thing over and over and over and over again. And, you know, think that it's okay and it's not okay. You got to put these things to death. You got to leave it alone, period. That's why I say you got to be born again. I mean, you got to change. What's wrong with change? What's wrong with being righteous and not doing these things? Turn away from these things. Leave it alone. Bury it, you know? And you can't just hold on to wherever you came from, because you're becoming a new creature. And if you become a new creature, old things are passed away. All things are become new in the spirit of righteousness, though. You see? This was important in the eyes of the Most High, because he's watching all of us. You see? He say, for which thing, verse 6, Colossians 3:6 say, for which thing's sake the wrath of the Most High cometh on the children of disobedience, the children that are disrespecting the Most High's laws, statutes, commandments, and having faith in the Most High while Mashiach Yahushua. This is what it say, in the which ye also, he said, in the which ye also walked sometime when you lived in them. So it's letting you know that these men and women and children that he's calling into this truth, some of us walked in these things. So he's not calling nobody holier than thou into this truth. That's why it's so hard for us to really look at people that's in these certain religions that think they all this and that, whatever, just following their own heart, which is wrong, following their own mind. They've been trained a certain way. This is how our religion believe. This is how our religion believe. That's idolatry, whether you want to accept it or not. It's idolatry, because they're not dealing with what the Bible is really talking about. And it's not the Most High. It's hard enough to get Israel to realize that we need to talk about the Most High. Less more of these religions that's talking about God and Jesus, and Jesus is the so-called white man. We've been programmed this way. But now, he also put off all these. Put off these things: anger, wrath, malice. You don't really have a reason to be upset. It's just poop, tap your little button, poop, you're all angry and going off. Blasphemy. You do that all the time. It don't matter what color Mashiach, it don't matter what color the Most High is. I don't care if his hair is wool or not. As long as his blood was shed for me. And they think that the Most High is Mashiach Yahushua. Mashiach Yahushua is the Most High. So, we deal with all of these things that's blasphemy. So you're going to blaspheme against the Most High because you don't even accept him who he is. Filthy communication out of your mouth. Filthy communication, saying all kind of stuff. You can say the truth. The truth is the truth. Now, they doing stuff that's all, yeah, that's the truth. But filthy communication out of your mouth, I can cut you with these scriptures. I ain't got to curse. I ain't got to curse you out. I got to do nothing of that nature. All I got to do is just hit you with these scriptures. Because last I read, Hebrews 4:12 says what? Ain't nothing more powerful. I remember I had like the me and I had a site on PayPal, not PayPal, but Pal Talk called Issues Concerning So-Called African Americans. And another brother had End of Days. And we were the number one site as far as everybody came in there, just hanging out. All type of religions, all type of people that didn't believe in that. You had atheists, you had, you know, Edomites that was, KKK, whatever. There was everybody hung out in there. They would go up to the mic and just talk all kind of stuff all day. And I remember going on there, and I was just going to word and cut everybody up that was coming against, what it is that we as a people stand on. That's the Israelites. And they would just tuck their tail like a dog and run out. But there was when all there was cursing back and forth, they was doing that all the time. I just sit there and listen on and let it stay on, KKK come on there, sing songs about Mama said don't play with no niggers. Niggas love watermelon, niggas love chicken. And they had songs, they had whole albums that they did. And people turn it off, turn it. Nope, I wouldn't turn it off. I let you to hear it. You to hear it. But it says in Hebrews 4:12, for the word of the Most High is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, and of the joints of marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart, of the mind. You see, so this word will cut like a two-edged sword. Not what I could say. That's why he's saying, filthy communication out of your mouth. I mean, I ain't got to curse you out. I don't have to curse nobody out to cut them. The scriptures cut. I mean, you mean to tell me I can speak something powerful to the Most High, the Spirit of the Most High? I don't think so. Colossians 3 and 9, they say, lie not one to another. They a bunch of liars, sleeping around here, doing this and doing that, whatever, sneaking this way, that way. That's why you got all these problems. That's why you got all diseases in the earth. Saying that, yeah, put off the old man with his deeds. So when you come in this truth, you putting off that old man. Like people see you, they should say, wow, you're not the same no more. You're not the same person that I knew. You're not the same person I grew up with. They gotta see a change. That's why I say, and put off the old man with his deeds, the things that you've done that was wrong. Even if it's dealing with lasciviousness, you gotta let it go. If you're gonna be in this truth, you gotta let it go. There's nothing that the Most High can do, nothing impossible with the Most High. But then if you think that, you're just gonna do whatever you want to do, and you part of them, you don't see me people, then hey, you ain't put up the old man. You just gonna get beat with more stripes. Then the ones you think that you better than, you're gonna get beat with more stripes. And now put on the new man, which is renewed in knowledge after the image of him that created him. You hear that? He said, after the image of him that created him, put on a new man. You change. That renewing in knowledge is very important because to tell you in Proverbs 1:7, Proverbs 1:7, first chapter, 7th verse, you got to change, y'all, because we're in the end of days. And people will remain the same. They're gonna find themselves in a world of trouble. Proverbs 1:7 says, the fear of the Most High is the beginning of knowledge, So you look at fear of the Most High, that's the beginning of knowledge. But fools despise wisdom, which is the proper application of how you apply knowledge in your life, the proper information that's been gathered, which is knowledge, how you apply this proper information that's been gathered, which is knowledge in your life and instruction. You got to be told what to do. People don't want to be told what to do now. They know everything. They don't just want to get it. Let me wing it on my own. Then you make all these mistakes. Mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake. You don't want no counsel. You just want to do whatever you want to do. Then you messed up. When you could look at, don't do this, you don't want to get counsel because you're too prideful. And that's how you're going to see that. That's these spirits lead to lasciviousness. All these things lead to the lust that the devil would have you to fall into because of the fact of he got a short time. Who he gonna come after? He coming after you that's trying to be in this truth. But you don't see it. And you got those that are outside, you know, probably somewhere in the truth that's still behind the scene doing kind of all this nasty stuff behind the scene and so forth. And it's being revealed, you know. You got to put on a new man, which is renewed in knowledge. First, it starts with the fear of the Most High. You're scared of the Most High, afraid of Him. Do what He say do. Keep His commandments. It says, after the image of Him that created Him. How you gonna be the image of the Most High and you're not gonna do what He say do? You gotta do what He say do. If you're gonna be the image of the Most High, you're gonna have to do what He say do. You can't escape this. I can't escape it. You can't escape it. Nobody can escape it. It says, where there was neither Jew nor Greek. They like to go to this one. Circumcision nor uncircumcision. Barbarian, Scythian, bond nor free. But Mashiach Yahushua is all and in all, right? So now it's saying neither Greek nor Jew. Now, Greeks are Greek-speaking Jews, the Hellenized Israelites that were Hellenized, meaning they were Greek-speaking Jews. They come all the way back to the Greek Empire. You understand? When you look at what they have done in having us follow the way of the heathen. Just a minute. Let me, hold on. So lucky, like I said, I got a late start, so bear with me. We ready. So this is why it says Jew to the Greek. We'll get right to the point. 2 Maccabees 6:6. It says, this in the Greek Empire says, neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient feasts. This on the Antiochus Epiphanes, so-called white man, an Edomite, king. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient feasts, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew. Okay? So this is way back in the Greek Empire. When you read the New Testament, we're in the Roman Empire. So they had taken away the fact of us being Israelites way back here in the Greek Empire. This is the only time that we were disenfranchised from knowing who we were. Not the slavery that we look at here in America. No, it happened right here. That's why in the Bible you see Jew and to the Greek. And what happened in verse 9, it says, and whosoever would not conform themselves to the manners of the Gentiles, and not claiming to be an Israelite, not claiming to be a Jew, and whosoever would not conform themselves to the manners of the Gentiles should be put to death. Then might a man have seen the present misery. See that? So it was against the law for us to call ourselves an Israelite. That's why you see, to the Jew and to the Greek, we became Hellenized. It means Greek-speaking Jews. That's why I say the Greeks nor Jews. Same people. Same people. Because look what it says next. Verse 12. Put on therefore as the elect of the Most High. Okay. So this said Christ in all and in all. Put on therefore as the elect of the Most High, holy and beloved. Okay. We're going to look at those words. Put on therefore, since it's talking about, they think it's talking about the Jews and to the Greek, it's talking about who the Greeks? The so-called white people only. So you got the Jewish people and you got the so-called white people. They all Caucasians. They all represent Edomites, but it's just to them. That's what it's talking about. Let's find out. Because the next verse, you just read the next verse. I always say read out the context. Let's read the next verse. It says, put on therefore as the elect of the Most High. Let's deal with that. Who the elect of the Most High? That's why when you define these words in the scriptures, nobody can gainsay them. Who the elect of the Most High? As telling these they're doing the Greek, all these ones that's like this, put on therefore as the elect of the Most High. Isaiah 45:4 defines who the elect are. For Jacob, my servant's sake, and Israel, mine elect. You see, the Israelites are the Most High's elect. This is what it says. Going back to Colossians 3:12. We're establishing something before we get all too deep into it. Say, but put on therefore as the elect of the Most High. Elect of the Most High, we just say, Israel, mine elect. The Israelites are the Most High elect. Holy. How you be holy? How you be holy? Y'all should know this by heart. How do you be holy? Who the holy? How you be holy? Romans 7 and 12. Romans 7 and 12. Wherefore the law is holy. That same law that the Most High wrote with his finger. And the commandment holy and just and good. You see that? So the law is holy and the commandment holy and just is the law and the commandment are just and good. So that's being holy. Those are keeping the laws and the commandments of the Most High. Are they doing that? No. Other nations not doing that. And then, like I said, to the Jew and to the Greek, come on. That's just talking about Jewish people and the Greeks are the so-called white people. That's it. No, that makes no sense, man. What about the other nations? See, they made us, Greeks by being Hellenized, Greek-speaking Jews. That's why it says, verse 12 of Colossians, the third chapter, put on therefore as the elect of the Most High. Holy, we know holy. Elect of the Most High are the Israelites. To be holy, you got to keep the laws and the commandments. They doing that? No. What religion keeping the moral laws, civil laws, dietary laws, ceremonial law? They're not. That's why you have all these different species and all kind of madness in the churches and so forth. Come as you are, right? You got all these people, ushers, that's, you don't know if it's a man or a woman. I mean, they got makeup on, gloves on, looking like, who would have thought it wasn't thinking no more? Come on, man. Say, put on therefore as the elect of the Most High, holy, keeping the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High. The elect, we remember, is the Israelites, and beloved. Okay, beloved, who to be loved? I mean, it's clear. Beloved. They don't read that. They always say you read out of context, so let's see who the beloved is. But Ruth 3:36 in the Apocrypha, he hath found out all the way of knowledge, and hath given it unto Jacob his servant, and to Israel his beloved. You see that? So the Israelites are the Most High's beloved. Definitely, without a shadow of a doubt. That's why the Bible can answer itself. You can answer these certain things concerning these words who is talking about. Nobody can gainsay on that. That's why they got to leave. It ain't what they want to hear because they want to remain in the congregation of the dead. Not you. Hopefully not. It said bowels of mercies, kindness, humbleness of mind, meekness, long suffering, forbearing one another, and forgiving one another, if any man have a quarrel against any, even as Mashiach forgave you, so also do you. You see? So it's very important that we look at this because we can get caught up in it. Next thing you know, you're dealing with the wrath of the Most High. Like you said, it was made for those that don't want to do what he say do. 1 Thessalonians 4 and 3. 1 Thessalonians 4 and 3. For this is the will of the Most High, even your sanctification, that you should abstain from fornication. That's very important. Abstain from fornication. Look up fornication. One of the definitions of fornication. Because it's very important that we keep hearing these words that we got to look at it and change. Fornication. Let's see what it says. Oh. It's not even in this Bible. There's something. It's not even this Bible. It's the dictionary borrowers. You don't even have it in this Bible dictionary. Hmm. So how would you ever know? How would you know wherever that what that word means? It's not even. Make sure you don't get this Bible dictionary. Make sure you don't get that one. Wow, wow, that's crazy. Let me see. Maybe it's over here. Let me take that back. Here it is. Let me find it. It's got to be in here. It can't have a dictionary without it. Says it. Here it is. Okay. Wait a minute. Oh, not here either. That's crazy. Fornication. Not here either. Let me look. Okay, maybe it's. No, it's not in here. Period. Hold on. I'm not gonna go out that easy. Let's look at. I know the Zondervan Bible Dictionary. It's always trusty. Let's see what this says. Fornication. Unlawful. First thing it says unlawful sexual intercourse of an unwed person. Okay. It was commonly associated with heathen worship. Okay. Heathen worship, meaning you're not following the Most High's laws, statutes, commandments. You're dealing with what the heathen deal with. Heathen worship is these religions, for real. That's why the Most High call us heathens too. Um, and was used as a figure of disloyalty to the Most High. Hear that? Was used as a figure of disloyalty to the Most High, and give scriptures to back it up. And we're gonna go through a lot of these before this series is over, for sure. So you're going away from the Most High's rules and regulations, His laws, statutes, commandments. That's why it says, going back to First Thessalonians 4, the 4th chapter, verse 3. For this is the will of the Most High, even your sanctification, how you clean yourself up, that ye should abstain from fornication. It's very important that we abstain from fornication, you know, sexual immorality. And that's what you're looking at when you're looking at lasciviousness, unbridled lust. Can't control yourself, have no control of yourself. And all that's going to come out. That every one of you should know how to possess his vessel, know how to possess your body in sanctification and honor, not in lust of concupiscence, even as the Gentiles which know not the Most High. So when you fall into that category of fornication and concupiscence, you're no different than the Gentiles that know not the Most High. And I always give you that in Wisdom of Solomon 5 and 7. When salvation has come on this earth, since people want salvation for everyone, it tell you what the Gentiles gonna be saying. This is what they're gonna say. As salvation, righteousness is coming on this earth. That's what Mashiach got to bring on this earth. Righteousness. It's coming on this earth. They're gonna say this. Wisdom of Solomon 5 and 7. We weird ourselves in the way of wickedness and destruction. Yeah, we have gone through deserts where there lay no way. But as for the way of the Most High and the Mashiach Yahushua, we have not known it. You hear that? They're going to say, as for the way of the Most High and the Mashiach Yahushua, we have not known it. That's why it's saying here. First Thessalonians 4 and 4, that every one of you should know how to possess his vessel. That's your body. In sanctification and honor before the Most High. The Most High see everything. Everything being recorded in the books. Not in the lust of concupiscence, even as the Gentiles which know not the Most High, he's saying. You see? You can't be like them. You got to look at being different. in the eyes of the Most High, he see everything. And everything's being recorded in the books. And those books gonna be open, and then everything that we do in these mortal bodies, these vessels, we're gonna be judged by. What do you think gonna be judged by? By how you did what the Most High told us to do. That's why you gotta learn it, live it, and apply it in your life when the book is closed. That's why some people dealing with lasciviousness, there's, and being off. And don't know how to control their body, their lust and so forth. We're gonna look at Wisdom of Solomon in the Apocrypha, chapter 14 and verse 12. Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 12. For the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication. You see? The devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication, and the invention of them, the corruption of life. You see? So when you look at the devising of idols, I look at the devising of idols as like a lot of these religions, man. They dealing with idolatry, because what religion is keeping the Most High's moral laws, civil laws, dietary laws, ceremonial laws right now? They say we're not under the law. They say we ain't under the Most High. Y'all got to understand this. He wrote the laws with his finger, and mostly religion teach that we don't have to follow him. But you follow your heart, follow your own mind. You got your free will. You don't have to do what he say do. And that's wrong. You cannot tell me that you could do whatever you want to do before the Most High and there's no consequences. And he took the time to write with his finger 613 laws, and you think that that's null and void. Something wrong with you. That's why I say I always go to Revelation 18:23, man, where it tells you that they have deceived all the nations through their sorceries. Through sorceries, they have deceived all the nations. For you to be caught up in that, one thing I could say, I never was caught up in that. It was something about me looking at who was there, how they acted outside of being in the church. To me, it's like I say, what's the word on you when the book is closed? It was just like that growing up. I was like, man, these people ain't right. You know, I was talked into, getting baptized this way, that way. They never really reached out to be able to make me be part of whatever they was. Most of them thank the Most High about so much I was shot. Because where is it at? From where I know now, and being able to lead me to where I need to come into the truth in my experiences in life. Looking at these people, they wasn't right. Just like you look at people right now, I don't care if they family members or not, that call themselves religions. You can't have them in the Bible, say, talk to me. They can't talk to you with this Bible. So where they getting it from? That's why I said, look, Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 12. For the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication, and the invention of them, the corruption of life. That's why you got men with men, women with women. They got to marry a man with a man. They got to marry a woman with a woman in the church. Come on now, make that make sense. Whoever's getting married, they wouldn't be there if they mamas with a woman, if they daddy was with a man. They wouldn't even be there. Bing. That's why I say, man, for neither were they from the beginning, neither shall they be forever. Understand that. Neither were they from the beginning, neither shall they be forever. They're not gonna be forever. And I like some of y'all, y'all really ain't gonna be able to deal with this, because it's gonna hit home. Because some of you living in secrets, dealing with secret things that y'all dealing with, the book is closed, and it's gonna hit home. Oh yeah. You gotta eat it, you gotta change. For by the vainglory of men, they entered into the world, and therefore shall they come surely to an end. You hear that? By the vainglory of men, all these religions, all these things that they say is okay. This is our decree right here. What kind of decree you have that justify the things that go on in the church? Little children being taken advantage of in the church. Y'all hear about it. If you've been sexually, harassed or violated when you was a child, look at all the different people that's grown, that's coming into the light of saying what happened to them when they were children. I mean, what safe sanctuary do you have if you can't even go to church and be violated? Think about it. Come on. the vainglory of men, they entered into the world, and therefore shall they come surely to an end, as it is written. Ecclesiastes 26 and 25. There's too much that's going on that's off. It says, a shameless woman shall be counted as a dog. You know that? A shameless woman shall be counted as a dog. But she that is shamefaced, meaning humble, will fear the Most High. You're going to fear the Most High. That's why I talk about it a lot, fear the Most High. It's talked about a lot in these scriptures. Fear the Most High, you're going to be afraid of him. You're going to do what he say do. You're going to be scared of him. You're going to follow his laws, statutes, commandments, have faith in him. A woman that honoreth her husband shall be judged wise of all. But she that dishonoreth him in her pride, you know, when women dishonor their husband, that's pride that she have in her, shall be counted unrighteous of all. That's why I say, man. And you know, I looked up dog in the New English Bible Dictionary. You got to think about this. So let's say a shameless woman, she ain't got no shame about what she do, shall be counted as a dog. Now, when you look up dog in the New English Bible Dictionary, it says, let me get there. It says dog. It's the New English Bible Dictionary. It says, in the East, dog is used for impure and profane person, unholy person. So when she just a shameless woman shall be counted as a dog, she's unholy. She's not with the Most High and Mashiach was shot. In the East, dog is used for impure and profane persons, and was used by the Jews respecting the Gentiles. So she acting like the Gentiles who know not the Most High. What it say? Verse number 5, it says, those who are shed out of the kingdom of heaven are also called dogs. A shameless woman shall be counted as a dog, right? Those that are set out of the kingdom of heaven are also called dogs on account of their vileness, probably a reference to homosexuality. That's deep. So now, when you look at Revelations 22 and 15, look who it named first. Revelation 22 and 15. For without the kingdom, like they just told you, are dogs. That's the first name that it lists. For without the kingdom, not in the kingdom, are dogs and sorcerers and whoremongers and murderers and idolaters and whosoever loveth and maketh a lie. So all these people are not going to be in the kingdom. But verse 14 says, blessed are they that do his commandments, that keep the commandments of the Most High. Moral laws, civil laws, dietary laws, ceremonial laws, that they may have right to the tree of life and may enter in through the gates into the city. Those 12 gates are for the 12 tribes of Israel. He said, for without are dogs. You just said that. You know, just gave the definition that Edomites gave. New English Bible Dictionary. But what dog mean? They took dog and spelled it backwards, came up with God around the 6th century AD. Germanic word. And sorcerers, witches, dealing with the witchcraft that they have on the people, whether you want to accept it or not. Why they can't come out of it? Be it in darkness, ignorance, and not knowing. And whoremongers, we're looking at that within this lasciviousness. You know, that's why you got all these different diseases that they can't cure. Because one got one disease, they got herpes, and another one got herpes, and they got different strands because they done mutated You know, slept with this person, that person, that person. And what do they do? What do you do? Who will answer the question about how they hook up when they have these different things? What's your conversation? Hmm? Hey, that's why I say that. You don't see me, people. Ain't nobody saying they got it. Ain't nobody saying nothing. They just incognito. You take a chance. It's like I tell you right now, it's almost like playing Russian roulette. You better be playing around with your life, man. And young people, man, it's sad, man. Plus, look at the man-made diseases that they have. Most times they're gonna bring plagues on the earth. Now, how he's gonna do it? You know, he's doing it through man. He's doing it through these people that's going out there. They playing Tarzan in the daytime. Men playing Tarzan in the daytime so hardcore, or they might be call themselves religious or whatever they're dealing with. And then being Jane at night. Yeah, they going out with their boys. They really going out with their boys, sleeping around with each other, man. That's why you got all these different strands of these diseases. And they come back and sleep with women like they like men and women. They go both ways. Any way you want it. They just ready. That's why I say that's lasciviousness, man. They, you know, unbridled lust, man. Just whatever goes. That's why I said, man, whoremongers, you know, sleeping over here, sleeping around. I mean, it's like right now they got what? Something called polyamory, couples, two women with one man. You gotta you have a woman, man have a woman, then another woman come and sleep with them. There ain't no wife thing. It's just, hey, this is what we do. Young generation, it's bad. It's real bad, y'all. It's real bad. Or the woman, got, you know, she got two men. She got a man, but they go out and get another man. They all three sleep together, doing all kind of stuff, wicked stuff. That's why the most time you can see this place is just like, that's why he call it spiritual Sodom and Gomorrah. For real. All the things that's going on in this earth. That's why I say, for without a dogs, Revelation 22:15, and sorcerers and whoremongers and murderers, cats really murdering people, and those that don't love their brother. Like I just did a lesson on Esau. I'm your brother. You don't love me. You don't love your brother. Do it? No, but we the first ones to love them, but they don't love us. Because he put that vow out, he gonna kill his brother once they buried our forefather Isaac. And when he met him, he didn't do it, but his sons wanted him to kill Jacob. And here we are, they have a portrait of hatred, tell you in Ezekiel 35:5, and have shed the blood of the children of Israel when the time that our iniquity had an end. That's why the devil know he got a short time coming out of much wrath. He coming down on those, the remnant of the 12 tribes of Israel that keep the commandments of the Most High and have the testimony of Mashiach Yahushua, as it is written. You don't love your brother, man. And we as the Israelites got to love each other. Regardless, man. You gotta get rid of all that. You're not making it to the kingdom. You hear what it said, murderers. And if you don't love your brother, let me show you that. I like to talk, but don't really prove it. I'm going to show you that. 1 John, go to 1 John, 3rd chapter, verse 15. Whosoever hateth his brother, 1 John 3:15, whosoever hateth his brother is a murderer. You hear that? You ain't going to the kingdom. Whosoever, no matter who it is, hateth his brother is a murderer. And you know that no murderer have eternal life abiding in him. You see? We're looking at who's not going to be in the kingdom. Revelation 22:15, for without our dogs and sorcerers and whoremongers and murderers, you don't love your brother. We're no different than going out there maliciously killing someone unjustly. That's how serious it is. That's why all throughout the Bible, you tell us to love each other. Especially the New Testament. Tell us to love each other. We as the Israelites. And idolaters, those that don't deal with the Most High, those that's dealing with something contrary to what he would tell us to do and have told us to do. And whosoever loveth and maketh a lie. Not going to the kingdom. Lies, they going to the kingdom. They lie. They lie all the time, man. That's why there be so much havoc and people getting jacked up all the time because of lies, man. They lying. First Timothy's 2, First Timothy's the second chapter in verse 9. It says, in like manner also, that women adorn themselves in modest apparel, you know, modest apparel with shamefacedness. That's humility and sobriety, meaning not being a drunkard, not with braided hair, that you trying to do this to be seen, to want to be, that's really something that's happening right now. You know, they're dressing to be seen or somebody to pay attention to them outside, especially you have a man, you're supposed to be looking at, you know, impressing your man. But, I've seen where men have come out with their women and they cause another man to commit adultery the way they look. See through everything. All you see is a bra and panties. Got to turn your head from that. Because my Shabbat said, that's his woman. You commit adultery with her just looking at her. And you got men that be lusting, causing other men to lust after them. Why? Because she's out there looking like that. That's why it says. In like manner also that women adorn themselves in modest apparel with shamefacedness. That's humility and sobriety, not being drunk, being focused on what you're supposed to focus on, and being righteous, not with broidered hair or gold or pearls or costly array. It's saying because you're looking at this in other words, so you're not drawing attention to yourself, especially if you're another man's woman, but which becometh women professing righteousness with good works. And the good works, we know what's good. We just read what's good in Romans 7 and 12. Commandment is good. The law is good and just. You know what I mean? So this is what you're looking at. When you're doing the commandments of the Most High, those are works that's going to go in the books for you to help you to make it to the kingdom. Or you can say, I ain't got to do that. I don't feel like that. That's then. Here we are now. So you're going to follow right with the Gentiles and you're going to go right to the lake of fire with them. Trust me. It said, let the woman learn in silence with all subjection. But I suffer not a woman to teach. This is happening right now. And that's pride. I mean, how is a woman that have a cycle? How see you going up there all the time, never come down from the podium? And they have women that's over churches, don't they? The pastor of the church. They call themselves pastors. Now, what they do when they on their cycle? You got rules and regulations for that. Laws, that's commandments for that. What do they do then? When they unclean. But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor usurp authority over the man, tell a man what to do, but to be in silence. As far as dealing with what it is that the business of the church, just like what I'm doing. A woman can't do what I'm doing. She can't go through these Bible and bring these lessons out for men because she's going to usurp authority over men. I remember brothers went to a church and not knowing, I don't think they knew, but this woman was the pastor over the church. And her henchmen come around, she telling them what to do. She usurped authority over them. They was following whatever she said to do. Straight up, that's what he's saying. Nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. And a lot of women can't handle that because they prideful. That's why I say you heard what it said, shamefacing it. What do you think he said? He already said it again. Verse 9, in like manner also that women adorn themselves in modest apparel with shamefacedness. What do you think that means? That means humility. You won't make it to the kingdom. Because, this world, we're in a world of a lot of pride. It's a lot of pride, and it tells us in 2nd Ezra 8 and verse 50, I believe, go there. 2nd Ezra 8 and 50. It says, for many great miseries, this is something I'm going to get some love out of this. Happiness and joy out of this. Say, for many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world that we in now. Why? because they have walked in great pride. You know, they have walked in great pride. Now we talk about the men all the time. I mean, but when we come to the women, then all of a sudden now, boom, we don't want to hear that. Y'all got to deal with it too. Y'all got to eat the whole thing too. Like we got to eat it because we're mostly talking about men. We the ones that's supposed to be leading everybody and being off this way, that way, whatever way you could think of. And you women are off too. Some of you, all men not off, all women not off. Some women going to adhere to what it says and be humble and know how to conduct themselves. It's not a put down. This is real. It's the way we have to be. Or you're not making it to the kingdom. Straight up. Making me something different. You know? I've heard all kind of different explanation of these scriptures and saying it means this, it means that. No, it says what it says. You got to adhere to what it says. You know. First Timothy 2:12. But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. Now, some of you got pride. That's why I said it's gonna be great misery. You're gonna have a lot of misery. Don't think the Most High ain't recording everything that we do. In these last days, I show means to be able to not have to go through the misery, but you're gonna have misery because of pride that's gonna be on this earth. We just read it. That's why we have to change, yo. Verse 13, for Adam was first formed, then Eve. And Adam was not deceived. Serpent didn't come to Adam. But the woman being deceived was in the transgression. Notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing, having children, if they continue in faith and charity, in holiness with sobriety. That's sobriety. Sobriety, you know what that means? Humility. Got to be humble. Or you're going to follow the way right to the lake of fire with everybody else that's prideful. You got to be focused. And to be focused, you're going to be humble. If you're not humble, then you're going to be put in the lake of fire, point blank. This is going to be terrible, y'all. It's not going to be great. When you look at Jacob's trouble, why are we looking at these things? At least I'm looking at them because I don't want to see no one, of my people perish. Everybody have an opportunity to change. If you don't want to, then hey, you might as well go on and be with Esau and whatever it is and the other nations of whatever they're dealing with. So you can go to hell any way you want to. Don't try and take me with you. You can be damned any way you want to. Don't try and have me damned with you. Or anyone that's trying to make it. That's real talk, y'all. Proverbs 21. Proverbs 21st chapter. And it's not hard. That's why I say 1 John 5 and 3. For this is the love of the Most High, that we keep his commandments. And his commandments are not grievous. So if you got a problem with what you just heard, you got to take it up with the Most High. We men got to take it up all the time with him. He always talk about us. Always. You know what I mean? Proverbs 21 and 19. He says, better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and angry woman. It's real, man, because that's unbridled lust. It's that lust that they dealing with that they feel like they want to be. Why you got to be equal? Man, it's enough that a woman have to deal with and being a woman. Not why you got to be a man. Want to be like the man. Why you got to say it's better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and angry woman. You know what he said? It's better be out in the wilderness somewhere than to dwell with a contentious and angry woman. I gotta find my other Bible. Hold up. Contentious. Let's see if I can find that word. always going against you. I'm having it here. Hold on, let me see if it's in here. Contentious. Contemptuous. It's like they say scornful, insolent, sneering, not humble. It's disputing, combating, contest, argue, all these different uh, synonyms pertaining to the woman. Proverbs 21:19, it is better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and an angry woman. And a lot of you have attitudes behind what you're dealing with yourself. And so that is processed and brought about to other people that come in your world, while some people are, pretty much not being able to, deal with a lot of people. The people not dealing with them because of their attitude, you know. You nobody gonna walk on eggshells for nobody, except for a weak man or a weak woman. That's why we gotta be strong. We gotta be strong in these last days because, you know, when you look at this and you want to make it to the kingdom, then you gotta we gotta do a self-examination. You have to do a self-examination and realize you don't want to be like this. It's better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and an angry woman. She's always contending with you, going back and forth with you, arguing and having a problem instead of working to make the everything work in happiness and joy. And because it's bad enough that we got to deal with all the things we have to deal with and just being who we are. Especially when you know that you're Israel and you have to deal with all the do y'all understand that there are people, their purpose is to bring us down? Our purpose is learning, live it, and apply this truth in our life, please the Most High, while Mashak Yahushai. And their purpose is to bring us down. The devil know he got a short time coming down with much wrath on those that keep the commandments of the Most High and have the testimony of Mashak Yahushai. We got enough dealing with trying to bring our people out of darkness to have to deal with, this type of lasciviousness. Say it is better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and an angry woman. It's real. It's real talk, man. Isaiah 51:20. Isaiah 51:20. Thy sons have fainted. They lie at the head of all the streets. Go in this hood, you see them right in front of the liquor store, hanging out, the head of all the streets. They fainted. That's a wild bull in the net. You put a wild bull in the net, which is gonna be bucking everywhere, trying to get out, right? They are full of the fury of the Most High, the rebuke of thy power. Hear that? He said, therefore, hear now this, thou afflicted. Why we got to continue to be afflicted? Why we got to go through this? Or we can look at what it is, that's solutions that work and work toward the kingdom. Instead of just having this feeling of, I can do whatever I want to do, even in the truth. not really looking at, I gotta take myself out of it and look at what the Most High says will please him. That if we do this, then we'll be able to see salvation for us first. Because what's the point of looking out for somebody else and we don't even know how to make it ourselves? We don't even know how to please the Most High. Anybody talk about the Most High? Everybody talk about I, me, mostly Israel, Kwam Yasharala. Look, therefore, verse 21, therefore hear now this, thou afflicted. That's talking about us. And drunken, but not with wine. Because we staggering this way, that way. Right now, y'all have an opportunity to look at whoever you want to look at. I like that over there. I like them over there. Well, they don't like me because I'm not doing what everybody else do, or you don't have it ain't easy to follow along, or you got some kind of reason why, you won't like what is coming out. But ain't nobody crying about thy sons are fainted. But you women that have a problem with, I just talked about women in the scriptures, give you some insight. Feel that same way about the men, little sons, these little young YNs, you know what I mean? And beyond that, those that's below them, that don't have no fear, don't have no morals hardly at all. They're lying ahead of all the streets. That's a wild bull in the net. Wild and crazy, he's saying. So have a problem with that too. See, that's why I say that's that selfishness, that self exaltation, where you can look at yourself as a woman and not looking at the men. Because most of I going to talk about men. That's mainly what we talk about. Period. So when you hear something about women, you gotta eat it. Men and women, they are full of the fury of the Most High. Hear that? Rebuke of thy power. Say, therefore, hear now this. Isaiah 51 and 21. Thou afflicted. Come on. And drunken, but not with wine. How you drunk, but not with wine? Because you staggering this way, that way. You over here dealing with this philosophy. Over here, you dealing with what they saying. Over here, dealing with somebody else saying. That's what you do. Pretty soon, you got your own doctrine. You staggering. But not with wine, he says. Thus say the Most High power, the power, and thy power that pleaded the cause of his people, who are the children of Israel, the 12 tribes of Israel. Behold, I have taken out of thine hand the cup of trembling. Those that's going to come back to him. Those that's going to do what said. Look at what's the solutions that's been given. You ain't got to figure it out. A lot of things already been figured out. It just a matter of where you at. You're going to remain in this kingdom. You're going to be like they want you to be in their witchcraft and so forth that got everybody in this dang on stupor. Having you side as children, you're going to still remain there, or you going to change. That's why he say you drunken, but not with wine. Staggering this way, that way, whatever way you think of. That's why it says, hey, behold, I have taken out of thine hand a cup of trembling. Why you want to remain in a cup of trembling? Somebody he's taken out of that trembling. Not everybody. But you say he's taking the cup of trembling out of our hand. That affliction not going to be to everyone. He's going to take that cup of trembling out of our hand. We ain't going to have to deal with that. Even the dregs of the cup of my fury. Says a fearful thing to fall in the hands of the living power. Hebrews 10:31. He's taking away from some of us. That's what you want. Or you're going to be dealing with this affliction. Jacob's trouble going to be a lot of affliction. He said in Hosea 5:15, Mosiah said, I'm going to my place until we acknowledge our offense. If you ain't thinking about how we offend the Most High, you ain't dealing with him. If you can't feel how we made him cry, you ain't dealing with the Most High. You're dealing with your own pride, your own power. It ain't him. If you don't feel how he said, all you need is me, don't eat the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Don't go over there and deal with the devil like Eve did. And we just read how he deceived Adam. And he should have knew better. But what he do? He fell right along because it was about power. And a lot of you want power. You're talking about with a condition called hell, but you want power in hell. Damnation, man, with this place, man. That's where it's going. It's a damnation that's going to be taken off the map forever and ever and ever. But you want to have something in this wicked, wretched kingdom, man. In kingdoms. It's real. That's why I say some of you going to remain in that affliction, man. He said, I'm going to go to my place till we acknowledge our offense, offending him, and seek his face. And he turned his face away from us, and the heathen know this. They hear y'all acting like heathens. You're not looking at how to change. You're not looking at how to be humble. You're not looking at how we got to look at how we offend the Most High. We chose the devil every time over the Most High. Therefore, he sent these nations on us to take us into captivity, slavery, and bondage. He said we got to seek his face, and he turned his face away from us. Therefore, here we are now in the condition we in. And don't let them get on. I tell you, knowledge puffs up. All y'all did was a bunch of knowledge, but y'all ain't never praised the Most High. Praise the Most High. Which one y'all saying that today? Praise the Most High. Praise the Most High. Praise the Most High. Think about it. When you hear it, when do you hear that? That's what King David left us with. That's what you see over and over again. He gonna be king in the kingdom. You understand that? You think he ain't showing us a way? Elijah ain't done what he did. He was forgiven. Most High forgave him. But he was praising the Most High. And see, some of you have to still deal with that trembling. What do you think trembling mean? That's not something that's gonna be, oh, you know what I mean? And a lot of y'all leave because y'all want to, y'all, it's not something that suits your spirit, because you know good and well you ain't praising the Most High. Y'all talking about all praises. You ain't praising the Most High. He our only hope. Look, like I said, I read the Bible frontwards and backwards, because they read it backwards. So you got to know what they doing to know how you got to think frontwards and backwards. Or you can remain in the congregation of the dead. Verse 22 does say the Most High power, the power. You see how they put Lord in there? Which means BAAL. And you know, I can't express it enough, but I don't think it's really real with a lot of people. Else they'll be trying to prick this in your face and get you to stop saying it. But if it's not, then hey, you're gonna do what you do. See what it means? See what it means? BAAL means LORD. Stop it. You're gonna go back and look at the tape, the lesson, and look what it means. And the elite know this, and you see it, but you'll come up with an excuse to say, oh, I don't have to do that. You know, it's okay. You know, you can listen to that if you want to. He said, I'm going to go to my place until we acknowledge our offense and seek his face. In our affliction, we're going to seek him early. See what it say here? Isaiah 51:22. Those that, you know, come back to him and really exalt him. I mean, his name is jealous. And we talk about ourselves more than we talk about anything in this world. Or some kind of world, something about people more than anything. It's about Israel or about something that's happening with people. Rather than the Most High is not in the conversation. Enough, I'm telling you. Thus say the Most High power, and thy power that pleadeth the cause of his people. Behold, I have taken out of thine hand the cup of trembling. So what do you think? We gonna be in the cup of trembling. He gotta take it out of our hand. That's why I say in our affliction, we're gonna seek him early. He said, he's taking the cup of trembling, even the dregs of the cup of my fury. Thou shalt no more drink it again. We ain't drinking it again. Those that are doing the right things concerning our well-being and being with him and not dealing with lasciviousness, man, unbridled lust and doing the things that would displease him. He said, but I will put it into the hand of them that afflict thee. You hear that? Nations. He said, gonna put it in the hand of them that afflict us, which have said to thy soul, what they say, bow down, that we may go over. Bow down, that we may go over. And thou hast laid thy body as the ground and as the street to them that went over. And that's real, y'all. In slavery, I remember, not in slavery, even outside of being in slavery, after we were released, you know, you walking down the street, and I remember they say you'd have to get down, and you got a puddle there, you have to get down, and they walk over you, man. Walk on you. Take the little children, put them down on the ground and put their feet on them all day, and just talking about that, take the rheumatism out of their bodies. And there's so many things, man, that you look at that the Most High said he gonna put it in their hand that afflict us, which have said to thy soul, bow down, that we may go over. And thou hast laid thy body as the ground and as the street to them that went over, man. Straight up. So these are the things that you want to come out of this trembling and the dregs of the cup of the fear of the Most High that he said he's going to put upon us, then we got to do what he say do. Ain't no running from this. It's about doing what he say do. Or you're going to have to deal with it. That's why we try to, you know, look at not having to deal with this. Because everybody not going to have to deal with it. Understand this. Don't scripture said, you please the Most High, you're going to make even your enemies be at peace with you? That's what we want. That's why it said Colossians 3:10. Look, it said, and have put on the new man, which is renewed in knowledge. You can't stay the same way. You got to put on a new person, you know, which is renewed in knowledge after the image of him that created him. You got to be like the Most High. Look what the Most High did. I mean, when you go way back to Genesis, man, the first chapter, in verse 26, he said, and the Most High said, let us make man in our image. That's the Most High on my Yahushua right there. It's a tree of life. And the Most High said, let us make man in our image after the likeness, after our likeness. You see that? So he made us in his image from the beginning, in his likeness. He said, don't eat of what? The tree of the knowledge of good and evil. So that brought evil into the world. Before that, everybody obeyed him. But when we ate of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, that's when we brought evil. We the ones that brought evil into the world. And here we are now in this condition that we're in. That's why it says in Colossians 2:8. Colossians 2:8. Colossians 2:8. Beware, lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, worthless deceit, after the tradition of men, you know. It's okay. Just come as you are, you know. You send your boy to school as a boy. When you get to school, he's a girl, and it's okay. Vain deceit, man. After the tradition of men, that's what they pass, laws. A girl go to school as a girl. When she get to school, she's a boy. After rudiments of the world, that's rudiments of the world, and not after Mashiach. You mean that when he was on earth, he okayed that? No. He wouldn't okay that. Like, we don't okay that. We're not for this world, man, and the wickedness that it's doing. That's why I say the eyes of the Most High upon the sinful kingdom. He's going to destroy it from off the face of the earth. Amos 9:8. And not after Mashiach. See, well, we got to look at this, man, and I'm like your alarm clock to wake you up from sleep. It's a warning. Proverbs 2 and Look at verse 12. Proverbs 2, we're going to start at verse 12. To deliver thee from the way of the evil man. That's why we got to look at the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High, doing them to deliver thee from the way of the evil man. Because what way are you going to know? Like Amashah Shai said, if you go to St. John 14:6, right? He said, Amashah Shai said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. So we know, class, the truth is Psalms 119, 142. We sing it together. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth, right? So he the way that shows how to follow the truth, which is the laws, the commandments of the Most High, that's going to lead to everlasting life. And he say, no man come up to the Father but by me. So here you see when they say in verse 12 of Proverbs, the 2nd chapter, to deliver thee from the way of the evil man. The way of the evil man is not going to be following the commandments of the Most High. The way of evil man not going to be following the laws of the Most High. They contrary to the commandments and the laws of the Most High. You understand? Deliver thee from the way of the evil man, from the man that's speaking forward things, man. And that's very important because he's speaking perverse things, things contrary to where you should be. You know, I'm telling you, Most High want a broken and contrite spirit. All you that's prideful, that's hateful before man and the Most High. And a lot of you don't even realize what pride is. Y'all don't even realize how you are prideful. Because you stand up and you do the things contrary to what you're supposed to be doing as a man, doing as contrary as you're supposed to be doing as a woman. And if you're dealing with that, hey, Most High dealing with you. Most High said he hate a prideful person. That's when you depart from the Most High. So the only way you're gonna be dealing with him if you humble. You have to be humble, or you're not dealing with him. Look, because a perverse man, he ain't gonna be dealing with he forward things that he bring forth. He ain't gonna be dealing with the Most High. Look, Ecclesiasticus, the 10th chapter, verse 7. Pride is hateful before Most High and man. Verse 12, the beginning of pride is when one departed from the Most High. In his heart, that's your mind, the way you think is turned away from his maker. So when you think you all that and you gotta stand up for this, that, and the third, you got this feelings that's inside you that you all this and all that, you ain't humble, you hateful before the Most High. Most High hates you. That's what it's saying. Look, Ecclesiasticus 10 and 12. The beginning of pride is when one departed from the Most High. In his heart, your mind is turned away from his maker. You ain't thinking about the Most High. If you ain't thinking about whatever you're doing, whatever your action, whatever you say, whatever you do, you ain't thinking about how the Most High feel about this in your actions, then you ain't dealing with him. You're dealing with just pride. He's not involved. How many times people ask me, what does the Most High feel about this? I want to do this, but how the Most High feel about it? You think the Most High gonna approve of this, approve of that? What scripture say about this? What do you think about this? That? No. Everybody doing what they want to do, so you're supposed to know. And that judgment gonna happen, you're gonna be like, man. Yeah, you were prideful. You would have said, pride is hateful before the Most High and man. And when man represent the Most High and see pride, it's hateful. You wonder why you get dealt with in a certain way? Because it's hateful when you see that. Verse 12, the beginning of pride is when one departed from the Most High. And his heart, that's your mind, the way you think, is turned away from his maker. For pride is the beginning of sin. When we think we are that, that's the beginning of sin. And sin is the transgression of the Most High's laws. And he that hath it shall pour out abomination. You hear that? You're going to pour out abomination before the Most High. You're going to pour out filthy, wicked acts. So what you do, what you say, what's coming from your mouth, from your thoughts, from your speech to your action. Hear what it said? Come on. For pride is the beginning of sin. And he that hath it shall pour out abomination. And therefore the Most High brought upon them, whoever have pride, strange calamities, and overthrew them utterly. He tell you that. He tell you that in Proverbs 1 Come on. He tell you that, man. In verse 26, I also will laugh at your calamity. Strange calamities come upon us. He said, I will also laugh at your calamity. You want to be prideful? He said, I'm going to laugh at your calamity. He said, I will mock when your fear cometh. When the fury of the Most High come upon you, and he going to be mocking and laughing at you. When your fear cometh as desolation and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish come upon you, then shall they call upon me. Everybody calling, oh my God, they always say that. But I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. This is serious, y'all. Can you imagine you need the Most High? He our only hope. Nothing else. And he said you can't find him. For they have hated, for that they hated knowledge. They did not choose the fear of the Most High. They would none of my counsel. You getting the counsel through the man's hand, through me. I'm one of his counselors. I'm counseling you right now. They despise all my reproof. Therefore, so they eat of the fruit of their own way. Your own way got to save you. Because you say, when you call him, you say, he ain't going to be found. So you got to know the way better to be saved. Save yourself. Prideful person. Therefore, so they eat of the fruit of their own way and be filled with their own devices. That's why it's a warning. Going back to Proverbs, the 2nd chapter. Verse 13, who lead the paths of uprightness, lead the path of what's righteous, to walk in the ways of darkness, walk in the ways of ignorance and not knowing. And not even think about the Most High's rules and regulations. That's darkness, ignorance. And the world is in gross, people is in gross darkness right now, gross ignorance. They walking in the ways of darkness. Especially if you look at how it's acceptable, the things that are acceptable in this world. What would a man give for his soul? What would he give up for his soul? Everything, his whole everything. A woman giving up everything for some money, some paper money. And you see they can just take it away from you anytime they want to. You know, that's anybody, it don't matter. They can take anybody's money from them. And that's what's going to happen. Most High is our only hope, y'all. I'm telling you. Y'all better learn to talk about him. Y'all better learn. His name is jealous. Y'all better learn to put him in your conversation and really sincerely mean it when you talk about him. Who rejoice to do evil. Hear that? Who rejoice to do evil. There are people that rejoice to do evil and delight in the forwardness of the wicked. Hear that? This is what we up against. And y'all give a like, for the video. This need to go out. People need to really see this, hear this, so they can change. Or you don't really love your people, enough to be able to allow them to hear this so that they can change. We all have to change. We all got somewhere or another, we got to tweak ourselves to be able to make ourselves better. Nobody's, have it all together. I mean, no church got all the truth. Or what's Marshall Shad come back for? He gonna teach us for 1,000 years, so we know in part and prophesy in part. And that part that we don't know, Marshall is gonna come back and make us whole, man. If Most High will, if we worthy to be part of that. But if you put yourself already there, you ain't going there. He said, did not make thyself one of the number. So that's why I always say, Most High Rat is Thaahwam, Most High will. He said, who rejoice to do evil, verse 14. Who rejoice to do evil and delight in the forwardness of the wicked. Hear that? People delight in the forwardness of the wicked. They like to look at the wicked. They like to see what the wicked is doing. They like, part of what it is that they are doing. Look at the movies and the TV shows and the movies and so forth. A lot of wickedness, man. And they like to see that. Or the things that just turn on the news. It's always something happening that the wicked is doing. The forwardness of the wicked, whose ways are crooked. Hear that? And they forward in their past. And they forward in their past, man. They are doing the things that are devious, man, devilish. All the time. This is their life. And people love to see that way of life. Think about this. You think you're gonna see that in the kingdom? When once I say everybody gonna be righteous, and we supposed to be trying our best to learn how to be preparing ourselves for the kingdom, and here you are, you loving the what it's saying here. Who rejoice to do evil and delight in the forwardness of the wicked, whose ways are crooked. They ain't straight. As we should be in the eyes of the Most High, they crooked people, and they throw it in their paths. It say, deliver thee from the strange woman, even from the stranger, which flattereth with her words. Hey, baby, or she winking the eyes at you, you know, to deliver you from the strange woman, especially these other women that's not of the children of Israel. That's what happened to King Solomon, didn't it? Now, don't you know about that? It say, deliver thee from the strange woman, even from the stranger which flattereth with her words, will forsaketh the guide of her youth. She done been taught the truth and forgetteth the covenant of her power. This woman forget the covenant of her power. So now you're looking at, hey, the covenant of the Most High that wasn't given to these other nations. So now you know this strange woman had to be an Israelite that forgot about, raised in the truth, and forgot about the covenant of the Most High, the laws, statutes, commandments of the Most High. Think about it. Even from the stranger was flattered with her words, will forsake the guide of her youth, and forgetteth the covenant of her power, man. That contract, that agreement that this woman have with the Most High. Like a lot of us, we wasn't raised under the covenant of the Most High. We just learning the covenant, the contract, the agreement that the Most High had with us, the children of Israel. But some in the past were, and some now, you know, little girls is raised in the truth. They're raised in the truth. They had no choice because you were made to learn the truth. But what it was that could be given to the children at that time. And they grown and forget about the covenant that the Most High made with us. Some of you, you was grown when you learned it, and they out there. They when you look out how many people I done seen come and go. Women come and go. They be down. They down with the truth. It wasn't real. Because they still be in the truth. They still be working in the truth. It wasn't real, just faking it. The Most High gonna deal with them. Men and women. But here we talking about women. That's why I deliver you from the strange woman, even from the stranger, somebody you don't know, which flatter her with her words. She got smooth words to tell you, you know. She flattering you with her words. With forsaken the guide of her youth, and forget the covenant of her power. Forget the contract, the agreement, this powerful covenant that the Most High made with her. For her house inclineth unto death. Hear that? For her house inclineth unto death, and her paths unto the dead, man. Her paths unto the dead, people that's in the dead state of mind. She forsaken the guide of her youth. What's the guide of her youth? It's true. The laws, statutes, commandments of the Most High, doing what you're supposed to do, following the moral laws, civil laws, dietary laws, ceremonial laws, keeping the Passover, and all the holy days of the Most High, and the feast days that we as the Israelites say we're going to honor because of the victory that the Most High gave us, talking about the Most High, being about the Most High, being about a Mashiach Yahushua, talking about a Mashiach Yahushua. You can confess you before the Most High and before the angel, but you ain't got nothing to say about him. How you confessing you? Oh, I prayed. You ain't no different than the person that go to church. He said, you confess me before man, not before him. Going to the Most High, go to the Most High and tell him this and do this, and aim me in, so be it. You heard what I said, so be it. Think about it. That ain't humility. They teaching you how to be prideful. I mean, you're praying like this. You can't get nothing like this. Give me something like this. I can't give you nothing like this, and you can't get nothing from it like this. We had our hands like this praying, but they taught you how. I mean, everything is opposite, man, of how we're supposed to be in honoring the Most High, and honoring the Mashiach Yahushua, and coming together, man, as a nation. It's opposite. Everything's mostly opposite. When you read the scriptures, you don't never see that. When we prayed like this. Come on. They know, I mean, you can't receive nothing, you can't give nothing. Here you can do a lot. You got your hands open. Bam. We pray with our holy hands like this, man. All praise to the Most High. Can you say that? All praise to the Most High. But y'all saying all praises. To who? To the devil? Satan? To who? That's who you leave it open to. Think about it. You leaving it open for them. Anybody that believes in them, they can say that. That's what you leaving it open for. Better be saying all praise to the Most High. To deliver thee from the strange woman. Proverbs 2:16. Even from the stranger which flattereth with her words, which forsaketh the guide of her youth, and forgetteth the covenant of her power. The covenant that the Most High gave to us, the children of Israel, man. How many women have I seen come and go in the truth, man? You teach them, they be knowing all the answers and everything. And where they at now? They forget it, the covenant of her power. They forgot the covenant of the Most High. Went out there with strange nations or whatever they're dealing with. They ain't in the truth no more. For her house inclineth unto death. You know that? That's what you looking at. Her house inclineth unto death, and her paths unto the dead. None that go unto her return again, neither take they hold of the paths of life. Neither you go up in there, and this she done turn worldly, and she got all these complete number of demons that's on her. It said, hey, you ain't coming back. You ain't coming back to the paths of life. That's why, look, y'all better understand something. This is serious. It's real. Let me show you something. Let's go to the book of Peter. Remember, she departed from the covenant of the Most High. So here we are in 2 Peter 2:20. It says, for if after they have escaped the pollution of the world, they escape the pollution of the world when you come into the truth, to the knowledge of the power and savior of Mashiach Yahushua, who said in St. John 15:3, they escaped the pollution of the world through the power of Mashiach Yahushua, as said in St. John 15:3, now ye are clean. Now you are clean. How? Through the word which I have spoken unto you. You see? Ephesians 5:26. You've been cleaned up you be cleaned up through this word, knowing these precepts and seeing what this Bible is really talking about. Ephesians 5:26. That he might sanctify and cleanse it, clean us up with the washing of water. How? By the word. You see? So here we are in 2 Peter 2:20. For if after they have escaped the pollution of the world through the knowledge of our power and Savior, of Mashiach Yahushua, they are again entangled therein back into the world. Where you going? I mean, I look at churches, I call them secular churches. You was in the truth, now you went backwards, going back where you came from. If you came from the church, you went back there because that's all you know what to do, or you went back into the world, or you dealing with, being a whoremonger, you sleeping with this man, that man, so you got all these diseases that you transporting. That's why I say, are you telling someone that, hey, I got this disease? You got it, okay. I talk to those, they say that they have strands of these diseases that they don't have nothing to cure. They can't cure them. That's why they're uncurable. And most times they're going to bring plagues on the earth because people are not acting right. You see what it said? Who's going to be without the kingdom are whoremongers. No commitment to anything, just sleeping around. They got all kinds of things that they're doing right now and got names that are made up and sleeping with each other and so forth. They're not making it to the kingdom. You ain't going to be doing that. Think about it. What you do on this earth, like, is, he said, what he said, that will be done in earth as it is in heaven. In the Our Father prayer, right? That will be done in earth as it is in heaven. So in earth, You doing what you doing. You think they doing it up in they're gonna be doing that when the kingdom come? Huh? Think about it. You better think about that. Because the things you're doing on this earth is what is gonna be ordained in heaven. So the kingdom gonna be doing the things that y'all doing and lasciviousness and all the crazy stuff y'all doing. That's why it says he cleaned you up through the word. They again, remember he said they forgot what? Remember the woman forgot the covenant of their power. The covenant, the contract, the agreement, the law, statute, commandment, the Most High gave to us only. And you felt good to know that you're an Israelite. And you rolling, as an Israelite, the chosen people of the Most High. Next thing you know, you back to being a Gentile. You came out of being a Gentile. You probably never was an Israelite. You probably was always in the mindset of a Gentile while you can go back to being a Gentile. It's just the way it is. Or you just 2/3 coming in trying to look around how the 1/3 started rolling. And anyway, I don't like that. You like it more easier. Well, you ain't under no commandments. You ain't under nothing except for the creed that your religion says you are, or non-denominational, demon-nations, right? But that's not true because you still dealing with them demons in the nation because that's what you dealing with. You ain't dealing with the Most High. Who you dealing with? If you ain't dealing with the Most High, you dealing with demons. Straight up. That's why listen what it said. Make it mean something different. They are again entangled therein. You entangle back in the world and overcome. The latter end is worse with them than the beginning. It'd been better for you not, look, I'm going to tell you, for it had been better for them not to have known the way of righteousness. It'd been better for you not to have known the way of how to keep the Most High's commandments, laws, statutes, and commandments, which is righteousness, which we define. That's why I tell y'all it's very important to know how to define these words from the scriptures. Deuteronomy 6:25 defines righteousness. Deuteronomy 6:25. And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before the Most High, our power, as he have commanded us, right? So that's how you be righteous, keeping the commandments of the Most High, not doing all the things that's contrary to what he would have us to do. That's why I said, 2 Peter 2:21, for it had been better but them not to have known the way of righteousness than after they have known it to turn from the holy commandment delivered unto them. And that's what they've done. They say, but it has happened. This ought to most high look at you. For anyone that's came in the truth and they turn their back on the Most High and what this Bible is really talking about and go back, they go back, they call backsliding. They go back into the world. It says, but it has happened unto them according to the true proverb. Going to Proverbs, the dog is turned to his own vomit again. And the soda, nasty, filthy, nasty pig that was washed to her wallowing in the mud, wallowing in the slop. That's how he look at you. This is serious, man. I don't know how y'all feel. I look at that, I was like, wow, man, and I have examples to be able to look at to say, man, it really happened. To many people. Many are called, but few are chosen. Luke 12, and let me see, verse 47. And that servant was new his masters, his select about so much I say, because that's another word for BAAL. Well, I asked the Most High, forgive me for you saying it. It said, and that servant was new his ruler's will and prepared not himself, neither did according to his will, which the Most High said we got to keep his commandments, shall be beaten with many stripes. Come on. You can't deny that. You can't deny that. But he that knew not and did commit things worthy of stripes, they wasn't called, because the Most High do the calling, and the Mashiach do the choosing. When you Most High call you to learn of a Mashiach turns around and show you the Most High. Everybody that's called have to learn of the Most High. He called, Most High do the calling. He called you in. And the Mashiach show you of the Most High, right? Because he gonna give us to a Mashiach. He gonna show you of the Most High. The Mashiach gonna do the choosing. But he that knew not and did commit things worthy of stripes to get beat shall be beaten with few stripes. For unto whomsoever much is given, of him shall be much required. And to whom men shall commit much, of him they will ask no more. You see that? So a lot of you think, look, you can look down on someone that has not been called and they dealing with whatever they're dealing with. Now, they have not been called, so they don't know. But they're still gonna be beat with stripes, but not as many as you're gonna be beat with hearing this word and understanding, being in the truth. That's why it says, verse 47, that servant, who are the Israelites, was knew his ruler's will. You know the commandments of the Most High, learn the commandments of the Most High, and prepared not himself, neither did according to his will, shall be beaten with many stripes. Will be beaten with many stripes. Meaning he gonna beat your butt. You know the will of the Most High. That's why it's very important to know, rather than sit up here and just act like the Most High know my heart and all that stuff, spirit and all that crap. And you know the Most High's will. What do you want us to do? And doing what he say do. His rules and regulations. You're gonna be beat with many stripes, he said. Because you know, like them, you know, they should have known better, but they're gonna do what they're gonna do. They want to follow their own way. So there's a judgment to pay. This moment. Okay, the water for waiting on me. Um, so you see, those that know gonna be beat with many stripes, man. Those that don't know, they're gonna be beat with fewer stripes than we that know. If that's serious, that's pretty deep. But he letting you know, man. I mean, it's a high calling to be called in to know this truth. Beyond what it is that, you might take it lightly, but it's serious. I mean, you think about, because the Most High said, look, let me show you something. In 2nd Ezra 9:22, 2nd Ezra 9:22, it says, he said, let the multitude, this multitude of people, perish then, which was born in vain. So you got people that's born in vain. And let my grape be kept, that's a grape, and my plant, that's a plant. For with great labor have I made it perfect. So you think about the Most High, he knew us, you're going to see that the Most High knew us before we even thought about being where we are as far as coming to this truth. And here it is, we in it. And he said, let the multitude of people perish there, which was born in vain. He said, let my grape be kept and my plant, for with great labor have I made it perfect. Right? So now you look at people that's been called and they just this covenant, man, that's so important. That's a contract that the Most High made with us. And this woman knew this covenant and she just put it to the side. That's why I say you like the dog that's eating up his vomit, he said, and you like a pig that's wallowing in the mud. And you knew the Most High's will. He said you're going to be beat with stripes. He's going to beat them down. Men too. But those that he have not called, that we can look down upon, going to be beat with less stripes than you will in knowing the truth. And y'all turned and went back. That's why it tells you this. Look, in Matthew the 12th chapter, verse 43, when the unclean spirit, these spirits that's in people that's unclean, what would be like, the things that people are doing in their worlds today. Like I said, the side effects. From all these diseases, from taking the medicine that they give you for these diseases. To give you something to pacify it, and you got side effects that's going to affect you for life. That might even kill you. Like I was reading the side effects for an inhaler for asthma, and I was reading for over 5 minutes. It can cause this, it can do this, it can do this, it can do that, do this, that, third, whatever. And in the end, it said it can cause death. And after that, it said, et cetera, et cetera. What's after death? Nothing. But it said after death, it can cause death. And it said, et cetera, et cetera. So it's just pacifying. That's why I say when the unclean spirit is gone out of a man, he walketh through dry places seeking rest and findeth none. So he didn't come out of you. Remember, you cleaned up through the word. You get cleaned up through the word and say, then he said, I will return into my house. That's the body from whence I came out. Why? Because you was in his truth. And you forgot about the covenant of the Most High. Forgot about the agreement that we made with the Most High. We as the children of Israel. Then he said, I will return into my house from whence I came out. And when he come, he findeth it empty, swept, and garnished. Because you're not dealing with learning what this Bible is talking about anymore. You ain't even thinking about what the Most High says, what Amashai says, what we did as the children of Israel that the Most High was approved of, what we did as the children of Israel, what he didn't like. He find when he come, that evil spirit come back, he find you empty, swept, and garnished. You don't have this no more. You don't have the ability to have the spirit of the Most High in you anymore. Point blank. Or you have in the Bible and say, talk to me. And you see that they can't. They can't. Why? Because he finds it empty, swept, and garnished. Then go he and take it with himself 7 other spirits. 7 is a number of completion, y'all. That's why you look at people that have left, that was in the truth, they left. When you see them again, you better understand. You better not forget this. The 7 is a number of completion, a complete number of spirits, man. Say, then go of he and take it with himself 7 other spirits. But you see people walking around acting all crazy and stuff. He takes 7, a complete number of spirits. 7 is another number of completion. A complete number of spirits more wicked than himself. You hear that? More wicked than himself. And they enter in and dwell there in that man or that woman's body. And the last state of that man is worse than the first. You hear that? Been better for him not to be called. Most High called him into the truth, and he laboring to make him perfect, and they just turn it back on him. That's what has happened. How you gonna learn all this and then you just like go back? When you going back to the world, nothingness, going back to nothingology? I mean, no matter how you where you go, it's still nothingology, point blank. And you got to pay. You say the last state of that man or that woman is worse than the first. Even so shall it be unto this wicked generation. Even so it's gonna be to this wicked generation we looking at now. That's why it's very important that we see this. Uh Go back to Proverbs, the 2nd chapter. You all right? Nobody's saying that. I don't see no comments unless it's not just coming up on my board. Oh, I don't see it. Mm, okay. There you go. Okay, there go my comments. I see them now. And Shalom, welcome everyone. You know, those that are comments, those that are not comments are coming and going. I see. Um, Look at we want Proverbs, the 2nd chapter, and verse 19. It says, "This is for this strange woman. Say, none that go into her return again, neither take they hold of the paths of life." You know, just like when I say, when you turn away, she didn't turn away from the Most High, so she got these complete number of spirits on her. And you go, you return again to her, say, neither take they hold of the paths of life. You ain't coming back to the life. Marshall says, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. You ain't coming back to the way that Marshall Shai gonna show you again the truth, which is the law, such come after the Most High, that's gonna lead to everlasting life. Say, you ain't coming back to that life. Say, that thou mayest walk in the way of good men and keep the paths of the righteous. See that? So therefore, you're gonna be dealing with the wicked. You see? That thou mayest walk in the way of good men. We know what's good. We've seen that in Romans 7 and 12. Those that keep the commandments of the Most High. The commandment is holy, the law is holy and just and good. So thou mayest walk in the way of good men. Because you got the complete number of spirits that jumped on her, gonna jump on you. That's why I say, for her house inclineth unto death and not to life, and forgetteth the covenant of her power. Forget the contract, the most sacred contract that the Most High made with us, the children of Israel. That covenant, the laws that's come out, he made with us for her house inclined unto death. Why? Because he got them complete number of spirits in them. Because he forgot the Most High, forgot to wear the Most High, went away from the truth, went somewhere else. Where's she going? But to the devil. And to the things that the world offers, and to them complete number of spirits, and went got a complete number of spirits to make her worse than she was before she started learning the truth. Most had thought enough of her to bring her to his covenant, and they just shunned it like it's nothing. That's why I say none that go unto her return again. You ain't return. Remember, she got a complete number of spirits. Not 7, but a complete number of spirits that her in is worse than it would be when she first came in. That unclean spirit that came out of her through the word of the Most High, learning this truth, she ain't dealing with it no more. It gets complete number of 7 number completion, a complete number of spirits to come back and be in her. That's why I said, none that go into her return again. You just take their hold of the paths of life. You take hold of that spirit, man, you're gonna be, I mean, you gotta understand a complete number of spirits. Legion was 2,000 spirits that Mashiach ran into them hogs and run down that hill and died and drowned. That was 2,001 man. Come on. A complete number of spirits, no matter how many it takes to destroy her. She have that in her. You got to understand this. With forsaking the guide, that's the way to go of her youth. She learned the truth. She learned the covenant of the Most High. She was operating in the truth. And forget the covenant of her power. Forget the contract, the agreement of her power. For her house inclineth unto death. Got to hear her house inclineth unto death, and her paths unto the dead. People that's in a dead state of mind, because you're not going to be able to think about it. You falling lustfully, the lasciviousness, silly butter falling with the lust that she's bringing forth. And she already got the complete number of spirits on her because she ain't dealing with the truth no more. That's why I said her house inclined to the death and her paths under the dead. Ain't no life in this. It's just all feelings. None that go unto her return again. You ain't coming back. You said, what you think, those spirits gonna let you go? No. Those spirits gonna jump on you. They're gonna jump in you. She have a complete number. They done already dealt with her. They got her all twisted. Now someone can jump on you. And she's still gonna be the same way. They done jumped in you. None that go into her return again, neither take they hold of the paths of life, that thou mayest walk in the way of good men. You ain't gonna walk in the way of good men no more. You ain't walking in the laws of the Most High. And keep the paths of the righteous. You're gonna keep the paths of the righteous. Your path's gonna be of the wicked. Them demons that's in her, that's gonna jump in you. For the upright shall dwell in the land, and the perfect shall remain in it. Not the one that's dealing with sinning against the Most High. The upright is those that keep, that's righteous, that's keeping the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High. You let you know they're not. They don't left. They just like Most High compare what to a dog, licking up his own vomit and a nasty pig wallowing in the mud. Come on. The upright shall dwell in the land. Those that keep the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High shall dwell in the land. They ain't forgot the covenant, that special covenant he made, that contract that he made with the children of Israel. And the perfect shall remain in it. You hear that? So we can't be perfect doing what he say do. But the wicked shall be cut off from the earth. And the transgressors, those that break the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High, shall be rooted out of it. He's going to root them out, man. That's why I say, what do you say next? My son, forget not my law, but let thine heart, your mind, keep my commandments for length of days and long life, and peace shall they add to thee. That's why a lot of people don't have peace, because they're not really dealing with keeping the commandments of the Most High. Like I say, nobody hardly asks, what the Most High feel about this, or how you feel about this. They ain't even talk about the Most High. Just listen. All you do is listen. This is our responsibility. You hear people talk about the Most High. You bring them up, then they can say something about them, but on their own, it ain't happening. Not enough, I'll say. Proverbs 5:3. So warn it against. For the lips of a strange woman drop as in the honeycomb, and her mouth is smoother than oil. The lips of a strange woman drop as a honeycomb, sweet as can be. And her mouth is smoother than oil. But her end is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword. You know what the Most High said his word. We went to there earlier in Hebrews 4:12. His word is like a two-edged sword, cutting this way and that way. He let you know. But her end is bitter as wormwood, sharper than any two-edged sword, sharp as a two-edged sword. Her feet go down to death. Her steps take hold on hell. Straight up. Her feet go down to death, y'all. That's why when you go into her, you like, it's death. You ain't coming out. That's what he's saying. Lest thou should ponder the path of life. Her ways are movable, that thou cannot know them. So she rolling with the devil. The devil is slick, crafty, cunning, all of that. This particular woman, smoother than oil. Lips of a strange woman, meaning what she talked to you. She dropped as a honeycomb, sweet as ever. You know, got you mesmerized, seducing you. That's why I tell you. 1 Timothy 4:1. This is the times we in right now. I'm glad they bought the food stamps back in, because I'm telling you what these women was talking about. They was talking about they gonna eat. They gonna be seducing people to, and they still doing it without food stamps. Seducing. Look what it say. 1 Timothy 4:1. The things they do, man. It's like, now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter times that we're in right now, some shall depart from the faith. Some will depart from this faith, giving heed to seducing spirits. That's what we're talking about here. These strange women with these seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. See, they ain't doctrines of the Most High. In the Mashiach, doctrines of devils, speaking lies and hypocrisy, telling you one thing. You know, I mean women that's come in and they act a certain way, and then they turn out to be another way, and they back out in the world. And they doing all kind of stuff, even call themselves being in the truth. And doing all kind of stuff, sleeping with this man. You know, a lot of times, you know, these women, they get themselves caught up in going to managers and stuff, sleeping with them, or want a job. They sleep with the man. You want to get a job? Okay, you got to do this. They do all kind of acts to be able to get the job or to get the apartment. Then they caught up. They got to continue to do those same things over and over again. They caught up with them. They want to get a break or loose. They can, because they caught up with what they've done. That's why I say giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. And they ain't dealing with the truth. So you're dealing with someone that's not dealing with the truth, trying to deal with somebody that's in the truth, trying to be a part of it. And that when the book is closed, here you are doing all kind of acts. And like, you don't see me. That's why I said initially, you don't see me, people. And they doing all these things just to survive, just not necessarily to survive, but that's just how they are, because that's in their spirit. They ain't dealing with the Most High, the Mashiach Yahushua. You can only pretend so long. Most High reveal it. Like you said, the Most High's eyes are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of man and seeing the most secret parts. He revealed his secrets to his servants, the prophets, period. But you don't see me, people, for real. Speaking lies and hypocrisy. They act like they down with the truth, but then next thing you know, hey, they done all these things. Like, y'all, boom, y'all out of here, because you know that fits you. You don't want to hear that. You want to hear something about yourself, you know? And what you done? Like I said, what will a man give up for his soul? What will a woman give up for her soul? You know, what will you do? I heard all kind of on TikTok and on social media things people say they're gonna do. If they don't bring this food stamps back, they're gonna survive. So they're gonna do all kind of stuff. Better believe, speaking lies and hypocrisy, having the conscience seared with a hot iron. You can't tell them nothing. Now that hot iron get on the it's finished. Once that print of that iron get on, it's finished, man. Ain't nothing you can do about it but throw it away. That's how their minds is. You just tunnel brain. You got them walls up there you can't get through. You trying to teach them the truth. They can't hear that. They act. They put on a good facade. You know, we can act very well. You can put any of us in any situation. We can act it out, right? That's what they doing. They just acting. It ain't real. It ain't real. or they still be in the truth, or they still be trying to repent and keep, maintaining their way of life in the truth, man, but not. They dealing with something else, man. Deceit. Um, Matthew 19 and 5. Matthew 19 and 5. And said, for this cause shall a man leave father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and they twain shall be one flesh. Saying you're supposed to have your wife, man, cleave to your wife, and the man and the woman supposed to be one flesh. Wherefore they are no more twain, two, but one flesh. They come together, they are one. What therefore the Most High have joined together, let no man put asunder, right? So whatever the Most High joined together, said let no man put asunder. When you go to the law, the 10 Commandments, Exodus, the 20th chapter, this is the 10 Commandments, he tell you, in verse 14, Exodus 20 and 14, thou shalt not commit adultery. And that's a man that's married going with another man's wife. That's adultery. And he said, even a man that's looking at a woman that's married. Why women coming out looking all kind of ways, man. You look at her, if you got to turn your head away because you look at her and you lust after you look at her, wow, is she married? And that's how the world is right now. That's the way the world is. Totally like this. That's why we have to really look at changing. That's why you become one with your woman in mind, spirit, and soul. It's just the same. If you there, you're not there. It's just like she's there. That's real important because Proverbs 12 and 26. The righteous is more excellent than his neighbor, but the way of the wicked seduces them. That's what we're looking at. A whole lot of men have been seduced by women that have the ability to know that they work what? Most of them work their body, not their mind. But it's beautiful when you have a woman that's her mind is with yours, man. There's nothing more beautiful than that. Scripture talks about that. In Ecclesiastes 26 and 1. Blessed is the man that hath a virtuous wife. They one. For the number of his days shall be double. So if you don't have a virtuous woman, wife, you're going to cut your days short. That's real. Blessed is the man that hath a virtuous wife, for the number of his days shall be double. And they're one. A virtuous woman rejoices her husband, and he shall fulfill his years of his life in peace. A good wife is a good portion, which shall be given in the portion of them that fear the Most High. Everybody don't fear the Most High. Everybody not afraid and scared of the Most High. They come up with another way to mean what fear the Most High mean. But if you have the fear of the Most High, then you can look for a good wife. It's gonna be a portion to them, you know. If not, then you're gonna be dealing with this scoffer woman, you know. You're gonna be dealing with verse 26. Verse 25. A shameless woman shall be counted as a dog, but she that is shamefaced, have humility, will fear the Most High. A woman that honoreth her husband shall be judged wise of all. You hear that? That's a virtuous woman. She gonna honor her husband. She gonna be judged wise of all. But she that is just dishonoreth him in her pride, shall be counted unrighteous of all. Hear that? A woman that honoreth her husband shall be judged wise of all. But she that dishonoreth him in her pride shall be counted unrighteous of all. That's why you look at pride coming in, and you look at it's not relevant to you when you're dealing with it. When your feelings, when you in your feelings and all that, you can't really look at it. I'm gonna be humble. Before the Most High visit you, and a lot of people, the Most High don't visit them, and they don't even realize it's the Most High that's dealt with them. Here he come again. Here he come again. This happened, that happened, this happened, this happened. All these things happen. The Most High the one that's doing it. They ain't counting him as doing it. It's just coincidence. Ain't no coincidence. It's all here, y'all. Look, Ecclesiastes 26:28. There be two things that grieve my heart. The heart is the mind, his thoughts. And the third making me angry, a man of war that suffereth poverty. Think about that. I remember the brothers went to the Vietnam War, Gulf War, come back, can't even get a job, can't get no help at all. You know, I was down on Skid Row teaching and feeding the homeless for 12 years. All praise to the Most High, about Shem Mashiach. And I met all kind of people, veterans. How are they on the street? A man of war that suffered poverty. They suffered poverty. And they went to war for this country. And they're on the street. Veterans. There be two things that grieve my heart. And the third making me angry, a man of war that suffered poverty. If you go and fight a war for this country, there's no way that you should be living in poverty, man. But that's how it is in this world that we in. And men of understanding that are not set by. Men of understanding that are not set by, man. You ain't trying to continue to grow in this truth through the Spirit of the Most High. And one that returneth from righteousness to sin. And that's what we're looking at, that woman that disregarded the covenant of her youth that the Most High gave to us as the Israelites. And she goes some other way into the world and received a complete number of spirits. But see, you don't know that because you looking at all. She just flattering with her lips, speaking good words to you, smooth words to you. Next thing you know, you caught up and them demons have jumped on you. This is what it says. And one that returneth from righteousness to sin. You've been given the commandments of the Most High, the laws of the Most High, and you sin. You go to breaking the Most High's commandments. This is what it says. The Most High prepares such as and one for the sword. The Most High prepares such and one for the sword. Come on, man. You can't look at this any other way but what it's saying, man. He gonna get you. That's why you got to know what these scriptures are saying so that you can operate accordingly. It's not hard, man. It's just a matter of it's a sacrifice. How much are you sacrificing to do what he say do? Is it worth it to you? Look, Leviticus 20th chapter. Let's go to some laws. Leviticus 20th chapter. Um, and the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, verse 1, again, thou shalt say to the children of Israel, talking of we, the 12 tribes of Israel, that's in the wilderness with Moses, or of the strangers that sojourn in Israel, these other nations that's sojourning with us, that give any of his seed unto Molech. Now you got to show me where Molech is what they say Molech is today. He shall surely be put to death. The people of the land shall stone him with stones. You see, that's his idol. Molech is the idol. You say you're supposed to put him to death. That's how serious the Most High is. That's why he said, look, Exodus 20:1. And that's what people are doing. You can say that idol, any idol. Y'all tell what idolatry when y'all just showed you when you're dealing with saying Lord. That's BAAL. You know, expose, look on Jeopardy. They asked this contestant, what is the Canaanite god Lord? What name is the Canaanite god Lord? And he said immediately, BAAL. And I show it to you in any Bible dictionary. Any dictionary you go to, you got BAAL, it means Lord. And they put it in the Bible to have you saying it, calling on BAAL, but it's like it doesn't penetrate for you to understand. The Spirit got to reveal it to you, man. I guess, I don't know, but look what it says. That's what people are doing. They put their God in here. They know you're going to say BAAL, but you will say Lord in a minute. Praise the Lord and Lord and Lord that, which is BAAL, y'all. Let me show it to you. But some of you might be just coming in. I got to put it in your face and nobody else doing it. I guess that ain't important to them. You see that right there? You see it right there? So you know. You see it. Anybody see this lesson? Or any lesson I'm bringing out, I'm going to bring it to you till you change. I know how it is. You know, it was hard for you to even come to Mashiach when the Spirit brought it years and years and years ago. But this is what Most High said. Exodus 20:1. But you said it now. So you just got to have patience. I have patience. It's going to be in the Most High time. Exodus 20:1. And the Most High spake all these words, saying, I am the Most High, thy power. I am the Most High, your power, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage, captivity, slavery, and bondage. He said, what? Thou shalt have no other powers. I don't like they put God in the Bible. That's dog spelled backwards. And that's a Germanic word. It was only created in the 6th century AD, a Germanic word that was created in the 6th century AD by the Edomites. Thou shalt have no other idols before me. Because it tells you in Psalms 96:5, for all the gods of the nations are idols. But the Most High made the heavens. They worship the sun, the moon, the stars, everything. Like that Molech we were just reading about. You know, they worship everything. It's like the Most High even calling on that God. Thou shalt have no other idols before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or anything, any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. This is very important. No, nothing that you can see tangible can be made. That they making different things that people are looking at, they bowing down to it. They're not dealing with the Most High. These religions are not dealing with the Most High. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them. See, nothing tangible. You can't see, you can't have no shrine. You got certain things up in there, you bowing down to it, a cross up in there, or whatever it is that you got up in there. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Most High, thy power, am a jealous power, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. When you do that, you hate him. And he's going to get you. And showing mercy, which is not getting something you do deserve to get, unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. You see that? That's so important. So that's letting you know you ain't supposed to have nothing, because the Most High is invisible power. Look at that in Colossians. Just so that you know that you ain't supposed to see nothing tangible in worshiping the Most High or in your face to say, okay, well, I'm bowing down to this. And the Most High say, oh, that supposed to represent me? When he said this in Colossians, the first chapter, in verse 16, said, for by him were all things created. Mashiach Yahushua. Was that created all things by Mashiach Yahushua. As the top angel of the Most High, that are in heaven and that are in earth, visible and invisible. It says, which, Salakia, I need to break 15. Let's read 14, Salakia. In whom we have redemption through his blood. We have redemption, the redemption through his blood, even the forgiveness of sins. That's only to the 12 tribes of Israel, who is the image of the invisible power. That's what I want. See, the Most High is an invisible power. The firstborn of every creature. That's the Mashiach Yahushua. The firstborn of every creature. Right? So I got to go here. He the firstborn of every creature, but the Most High is an invisible power. Keep that in mind. That's why I say you can't make nothing. And then you bow down to that. Whatever you can see, anything tangible. With your eyes, no. He's an invisible power. The best thing I can tell you is close your eyes. You see darkness because you dwell in thick darkness. And that's that thick darkness you see when you close your eyes. You can't see nothing. That's thick darkness. Now it says the firstborn of every creature, right? I'm not sure I would say the firstborn of every creature, but why, if he the firstborn of every creature, why they put this in the Bible in Revelation 3:14? It's not a mistake. They put it there purposely. See if they catch on to this. Yeah, the Spirit of the Most High revealed them. It said, and unto the angel of the church of the Laodiceans, right? These things said the Amen. That's what y'all say whenever y'all finish your prayer. That's wrong. The faithful and true witness, the beginning of the creation of the Most High. We just read in Colossians 1 13 or 14 that Mashiach Shai is the beginning of the creation of the Most High. Or is it Amen? The beginning of the creation of the Most High. Isn't that a contradiction? The Most High, he's not the author of confusion. It's at the beginning of creation of the Most High. Now let's see, the Most High created everything by Amen. I got to bring it because, I try and bring it so that a child can understand it. You can't understand it, you ain't in the spirit. Point blank. Children understand this. Ephesians 3:9. And to make all men see what is the fellowship of the mystery. A mystery is so secret, which from the beginning of the world has been hid in the Most High. Beginning, that's Genesis 1:1. Beginning of the world, it's been hid in the Most High. That's Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, Elohim, the powers, created heaven and earth, right? So here it is. It says, and to make all men see what is the fellowship of the mystery, the secret, which from the beginning of the world has been hid in the Most High, who created all things by Hamashiach Yahushua. Now you're gonna tell me Hamashiach Yahushua is Amen? Do y'all know that's Zeus last name? The Greek god, idol, Zeus, last name is Amen. That's who y'all calling on. Alexander created Zeus, Amen. Before he left out of here, he ruled for 12 years, from 20 to 32 years old. He made sure before he left out of here, y'all was calling on Amen. Check it out. They put it in the Bible. It's our book. They put it in the Bible. Who published the Bibles? Who was able to take words out, take whole phrases out, whole verses out that you will never see if you read their Bible? New World Translation, Jehovah's Witness Bible, the New International Version, NIV. These different Bibles, they took scriptures out of them. So you think they put something in it? They can take it out, but they can't put it in it. They put it in there. You see that? Mashiach Shai is the creation. Created all things by a Mashiach Shai, the Most High did. The top angel of the Most High. But, people just lollygagging like, it's not important because they ain't talking about Israel, about you. That's pride. Going back to Leviticus 20th chapter. I digress. Leviticus 20th chapter. The word is powerful, y'all. Leviticus the 20th chapter. And it says, who said I want again? And the Most High speaking to Moses, saying, again, thou shalt say to the children of Israel, whosoever he be of the children of Israel, or of the strangers, these are the nations that sojourn in Israel, that giveth any of his seed unto Molech, that demon, select your Most High again, Moleech. And I say that because, reason why I'm spelling it, because Exodus 23 and 13. And in all things that I have said unto you, be circumspect, meaning be cautious, and make no mention of the name of other gods, of these idols. Neither let it be heard out of thy mouth, right? So much as I can, as I look, I try, not to say the name, so I'll just spell it, for now. But it says in Leviticus 20:1, and the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, again, thou shalt say to the children of Israel, whosoever he be of the children of Israel, or of us, or the strangers that sojourn in Israel, that give any of his seed unto this idol, he shall surely be put to death. Because that's like Most High said, we supposed to have no other power but him. Here you're gonna deal with this idol. It's a man's name, shall be put to death. And people of the land shall stone him with stones. And I will set my face, just like Amenra, same thing. And I will set my face against that man and will cut him off from among his people, because he have given his seed unto Molech. That's the same thing they doing in the Bohemian Grove up north, in California, giving his seed to Molech, and defile my sanctuary, and to profane my holy name, to make his name unholy. Profane means unholy, to make his name unholy. And if the people of the land do any ways hide their eyes from the man, when he giveth of his seed unto Molech, and kill him not, you don't put him to death, thus say the Most High, then I will set my face against that man and against his family, and will cut him off, and all that go a whoring after him, to commit whoredom with Molech from among their people. And the soul that turneth after such as have familiar spirits, and after wizards, and go a whoring after them, that's fornication, y'all. You go after familiar spirits and after wizards, and go a whoring after them, I will even set my face against that soul, and will cut him off from among his people. Sanctify yourselves, therefore, and be ye holy, for I am the Most High, your power. You see, but this is what we did. He told us don't do it, right? But here we go. Go to Psalms 106 and 35. But were mingled among the heathen and learned their works. Hear that? This is what we did until this day. Mingled among these heathen, and you learn the works of all these different religions and all the different philosophies and so things that they set up for you to follow, so that you could be led to the lake of fire with them. And they served their idols, which were a snare unto them. Not only that, yeah, they sacrificed their sons and their daughters unto devils. That's what we did, the children of Israel, and shed innocent blood, even the blood of their sons and of their daughters. Hear that? Whom they sacrificed unto the idols of Canaan. Hear that? Sacrifice our sons and daughters unto, just like he said, don't sacrifice your sons and daughters. That seed, that's from the man, on the idols, and that's what we did. Sacrifice unto the idols of Canaan, and the land was polluted with blood. Thus were they defiled with their own works, and went a whoring with their own inventions. Therefore was the wrath of the Most High kindled against his people, the 12 tribes of Israel, insomuch that he abhorred, he hated his own inheritance. And he gave them into the hand of the heathen, captivity, slavery, and bondage, y'all. And they that hated them, not loved us, but hated them, ruled over them. You hear that? Because we didn't do what the Most High said for us to do. Their enemies also oppressed them, and they were brought into subjection under their hand. He said, many times did he deliver them from captivity, slavery, and bondage, y'all. But they provoked him with their counsel, and were brought low for their iniquity, brought low for our breaking the Most High's commandments. Nevertheless, he regarded their affliction. They go affliction again, y'all. He said, in your affliction, you're going to seek him early. And he said, some going to seek him and ain't going to find him. And he going to mock and laugh at them when a calamity come, destruction come, and so forth. We read that, you know. You want to be dealing with lasciviousness. You want to deal with all the things the world have you do. Some of y'all running around here playing Tarzan in the daytime and Jane at night. Coming home with your woman and giving them all these diseases. Next thing you know, y'all ain't together, and then she gonna get that same disease to somebody else. Or how do y'all work that out? Inquiring minds want to know. Hey, baby, I got this strand of herpes, or I got this strand of syphilis. I remember I met a brother. I knew him. He was like, he had gonorrhea. He said he gonna go and give it to everybody he can that weekend. Way back in the day. Man, I said, that's wicked, man. Why would you do that? They want me. They don't get what I got. Wicked. That's what's happening. It's worse than that now. I ain't saying nothing. It's bad, man. So therefore the wrath was kindled against his people, because so much that he abhorred us. He hated us, his own inheritance. We the children of Israel. And he gave them into the hand of the heathen. And they that hated them ruled over them. Their enemies also oppressed them, and they were brought into subjection under their hand. Over and over again, man. Many times, Most High said, he did deliver them. He delivered us. But they provoked him with their counsel. What they're saying, you think the Most High don't hear you? He hear everything. He know everything. And were brought low for their iniquity, breaking the Most High's laws. Nevertheless, he regarded their affliction. When he heard their cry, that's the only time the Most High had pity on us. And you ain't crying without humility. Come on. Tell me you prideful crying to the Most High, he hear you. He gonna give you what you want. The cry of your affliction. And you prideful. We just read. Prideful, hateful before the Most High and man. When you have pride, that's when you depart from the Most High. You gotta hear this. They learn how to be humble. Nevertheless, he regarded their affliction when he heard their cry, when he heard us crying to him. And Jacob's trouble gonna bring a lot of affliction to a people, man. And remember for them his covenant. Remember that she forgot about? That she knew about the covenant from her youth, forgot about it? But we Most High remember the covenant when we cried to him sincerely with humility and repented according to the multitude of his mercies. See? He made them also to be pitied of all those that carried them captives. Save us, O Most High, our power, and gather us from among the heathen, as we scattered among the heathen right now, to give thanks unto thy holy name, to bottom Most High, power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and to triumph in thy praise. Praise the Most High. People don't even say that. Y'all don't went to the point of saying all praises. And don't even say all praise to the Most High. On your own, I'm saying, you know, without having to hear it, like somebody, they out of here. Blessed be the Most High power of Israel for everlasting to everlasting. And let all the people say, I ain't saying that. See that? See how they stuck that in there? Praise ye the Most High. I ain't saying amen. Not along with praising the Most High. Blessed be the Most High power of Israel from everlasting to everlasting. Let all the people say. See, y'all can think it mean that if you want to. That's Zeus last name. So you gonna let him be your power. Look it up. Go all the way back to Amenra, Egyptian #1 deity. The Greek #1 deity, Zeus, man. That's his last name, Amen. So when you call on that Amen, you calling on their God. They put it in there. Praise ye the Most High. Stand over, Amen. Forget that. They don't want you to know that, though. Proverbs. Look at this. Before I go there, Psalm 107 and 20. Look at this. He sent his word and healed them and delivered them from their destruction. He sent his word and healed them and delivered them from their destructions. You know the word is Mashiach Yahushua. And healed us and delivered them from their destructions. Look what it say. Oh, that men would praise the Most High. Oh, that men would praise the Most High instead of saying all praises. To who? All that men would praise the Most High. Y'all hear this? For his goodness and for his wonderful works to the children of men. And let them sacrifice the sacrifices of thanksgiving and not what you go deal with tomorrow. And declare his works with rejoicing. Feel good about declaring the works of the Most High. Talking about, you can't talk about it, you ain't dealing with it. Verse 31. Most High speak once, say twice. Oh, that men would praise the Most High for his goodness and for his wonderful works to the children of men. Let them exalt him also in the congregation of the people and praise him in the assembly of the elders. Is that happening? Come on. You cannot tell me that you praise the Most High by saying all praises. Speak to me. Talk to me. Tell me you are. You can't even say all praise to the Most High. You would have said, let them exalt him also in the congregation of the people and praise him in the assembly of the elders. You better understand, man. It's very important. That's the most thing we can do. Praise the Most High. But y'all think he gonna come through for you and you ain't praising him? To my all praises. Y'all have to know I got a problem with that. Leviticus 21 and 7. Let's go up some. I'm gonna because it's talking about the priests. Let's look at verse 6. They shall be holy unto their power, right? And not profane, mean unholy, the name of their power. We ain't supposed to make the Most High name unholy. Profane mean unholy. For the offerings of the Most High made by fire and the bread of their power, they do offer. Therefore they shall be holy. And we know holy, to be holy, you got to keep the commandments of the Most High. That's Romans 7 and 12. They shall not take a wife that is a whore or profane. They shall not take a wife that is a whore or profane, unholy. See a whole. Neither shall they take a woman put away from her husband, for he is holy unto his power. That's what he told us. Thou shalt sanctify him, therefore, for he offereth the bread of thy power. He shall be holy unto thee, for I, the Most High, which sanctify you, am holy. And the daughter of any priest, if she profane herself by playing the whore, she profaneth her father. She shall be burnt with fire. That was serious, man. He that is the high priest among his brethren, upon whose head the anointing oil was poured, and that is consecrated to put on the garments, shall not uncover his head, nor rend his clothes. Well, what is that about? I thought a man can't have his head covered. But it says he shall not uncover his head, nor rend his clothes, tear his clothes. Neither shall he go into any dead body, nor defile himself for his father or his mother. That was serious, man. Neither shall he go into any dead body, or defile himself for his father or his mother. Uh-oh. Neither shall he go out of the sanctuary, nor profane the sanctuary of his power. For the crown of the anointing oil of his power is upon him. I am the Most High. And he shall take a wife in her virginity. So at this time, a man had to take a wife. Priest had to take a wife in her virginity. She had to be a virgin, a widow or a divorced woman or profane, unholy or a harlot. These shall he not take, but he shall take a virgin of his own people to wife. That's the law. Neither shall he profane his seed among his people, but I, the Most High, do sanctify him. This is when the Most High was, are we allowed to have our own rules and regulations, laws and so forth? That's how we set it up. Now, man, we to actually follow this in a captivity, man, be hard to do. While the Most High give us grace and mercy. Um, Ecclesiasticus 33 and 19. Ecclesiasticus 33 and 19. Ecclesiasticus 33 and 19. Give not thy son and wife, thy brother and friend, power over thee while thou livest, and give not thy goods to another, lest it repent thee, and thou entreat for the same again. You give it to him, you go, hey man, I want it back. Give not thy son and wife, thy brother and friend power over thee while thou livest. So you ain't supposed to be giving away power over you while you living. And give not thy goods to another, lest it repent thee, you be sorry for doing it, and thou entreat for the same again. You ask for them again, back again. As long as thou livest and hast breath in thee, as long as you got breath in these mortal bodies, he said, give not thyself over to any. For better it is that thy children should seek to thee than thou shouldst, and then thou shouldst stand in their courtesy. You're looking for your children to take care of you. It's not talking about, the elderly old that can't really deal with themselves, but it's like you living and then you, like a lot of parents depend on their children instead of the children depending on thee. For better it is that children should seek to thee than that thou shouldst stand to their courtesy, needing them all the time. In all thy works, it says, keep to thyself the preeminence. Leave not a stain in thine honor. So don't leave a stain in your honor, man. Leave up out of here and it's like people be glad you gone. That's not cool, you know. At the time when thou shalt end thy days and finish thy life, distribute thine inheritance, give it to you, not some will. You give this, this, that, and the third, whatever, to just you said distribute your inheritance. Have that in order. But you got people that's, they're not looking at this. They don't look at it like this. Ecclesiasticus 6 and 10. These are instructions. And like I say, warning against too, of not doing what he said do. I don't want to fall into being a lot of y'all robots and robotees, I must say it. Y'all following whatever it is that's come out, like y'all saying all praises. Why? Because somebody started that. Somebody started saying that, and y'all follow right along with it. Spiritual puppets, hypnotized, bewitched in naughtiness, brains polluted in spiritual darkness. Come on. You can't praise the Most High enough. I know that. Ecclesiastes 6 and 6. Be in peace with many. Say, be in peace with many. Nevertheless, have a one counselor of 1,000. Think about that. He said, be at peace with many. Nevertheless, he said, have one counselor of 1,000. Because a lot of people, they can't hold nothing. They constantly talk about you right there in front of everybody. Why you want to counsel with them? I would say have one counsel of 1,000. If thou wouldst get a friend, prove him first. You get a friend, prove him first, he's saying. And be not hasty to credit him. Don't be so quick to credit him. He got to be proven. In time, you'll see whether or not they really your friend or not. What? Salakia. It says in Ecclesiasticus 6 and 7, it says, if thou wouldst get a friend, prove him first. And be not hasty to credit him. Don't be so quick to credit someone that you just meet. They will be proven. In time, you'll see whether or not they're friends or not. See, don't be so quick to credit them. For some man is a friend for his own occasion and will not abide in the day of thy trouble. Some men are just there for their own occasion, man. They figure that, I've seen people, they piggyback off another man's work. I've seen people that, they there because someone is up. They have a lot. They want to be around them for his own occasion. And will not abide in the day of thy trouble. Things go bad. Like people that have money, then that's you notice once they go to get into a tight, they ain't got no friends. They don't have all these people working with them, dealing with them. No, so they get in a tight, they can't go to them, get nothing. They out of there. That's why I say some men are a friend for his own occasion and will not abide in the day of thy trouble. You need them, they're not there. And there's a friend who being turned to enmity and strife will discover thy reproach. And there was a friend who being turned to making war with you and arguing with you will discover thy reproach, your disgrace, man. Again, some friend is a companion at the table. As long as you invite them to dinner, they eating everything up that you provided and will not continue in the day of thy affliction, will not be there when you need them, you and afflicted. They don't care. You help them this way, that way, whatever, sit there, ate your food, your wine, sat there, had a good time, party with you, and will not continue in the day of thy affliction. Go through some changes that boom, they out. Where they at? Supposed to be your friend or friends, for that matter. But in thy prosperity, he will be as thyself. When you rolling, you got it going on, you got money, you got all these things happening, he will be just like you. And will be bold over thy servants, bold over the ones that you over. that's working for you. Like he got the money. Like he's rolling. It says, verse 12, if thou be brought low, he will be against thee. You brought low, long as you was living prosperous. That's why you don't know a person whenever you live prosperous. They really afraid of that. They just there because they think you got it going on. That's why it's cool just to be chilling, man. Don't forget about all that. If thou be brought low, he will be against thee and will hide themselves from thy face. You don't see him no more. Certain things happen that you know, dang, what happened to all my friends? They not around no more. Hide his face from you. Don't even deal with you no more. I've experienced this many a times in my life. Separate thyself from thine enemies, it says, and take heed of thy friends, he said. Take heed of thy friends. Look, go to Micah, 3rd chapter, the book of Micah. Select him. Get it. Micah, the 3rd chapter. And we're going to look at, I don't want 3rd chapter, 5, the 5th chapter. And is that it? No, 7. 7 and 5. It says, Micah 7 and 5, trust ye not in a friend. You hear that? Say, trust ye not in a friend. Put ye not confidence in a guide, somebody that's supposed to be leading you. Say, keep the doors of thy mouth from her that lieth in thy bosom. That says, keep the doors of thy mouth, what you had to say, from her that lieth in thy bosom. So, men, you're not supposed to be telling your woman everything. And women, y'all look at the scripture and say, I don't want to know everything. Don't be so nosy. Because it said, keep the doors of thy mouth from her that lieth in thy bosom. So a woman not supposed to be told everything, and a woman that's righteous shouldn't want to know everything. Say, for the son dishonoreth the father, and the daughter rises up against her mother, the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. A man's enemies are the men of his own house. You see that? A man's enemies are the men of his own house, his own family. Therefore, I will look unto the Most High. I will wait for the Most High power of my salvation. Oh, my power will hear me. Hear that? So we got to wait on y'all. He the only one going to bring salvation on this earth, man. Righteousness on this earth. Point blank. Nobody else. It's like, trust you not in a friend. Put you not confidence in the guy. Somebody trying to lead you. They ain't leading you right. In the right way. For real, for real. Other than that, you're going to be caught up. Listen, this is what all the prophets said in verse 9. It said, I will bear the indignation of the Most High, because I have sinned against him, until he plead my cause and execute judgment for me. He will bring me forth to the light, and I shall behold his righteousness. Then she that is mine enemy shall see it. You know? She that is my enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her which said unto me, where is your power, thy power? Mine eyes shall behold her. Now shall she be trodden down as the myrrh of the streets. You hear that? Y'all, but women better be in line, man. Because I see this, it's like women that's been in the truth and they're like, where your power at now? How you supposed they really not there. Supposed to be in the truth, but they really not there to say, hey, where's your power? Thy power, mine eyes shall behold her, he said. What she say? Then she that is mine enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her which said unto me, where is the power, thy power? Where is your power now? When you need him, we need him. Where is he at? Mine eyes shall behold her. But hear what it's saying. Now shall she be trodden down as the myrrh of the streets. Remember, we talked about, you know where that myrrh came from, right? Hmm? Them pigs. Remember it said a soul wallowing in the myrrh? We read about earlier. Some of you probably wasn't here, just coming in. But we read about what it says, if you leave this truth, it says in 2 Peter 2:22, it says, but it is happening to them according to the true proverb. The dog is turned to his own vomit again, and the soul, the filthy McNasty pig that was washed, you were cleaned up through we showed you in John 15:3, you clean up now you are clean through the word. In Ephesians 5:26, you wash in the water by the word. The nasty pig, filthy but nasty pig that was washed by the word of the Most High to her wallowing in the myrrh. No different than what we just read, y'all. That's how you look at you, a dog that licking up his vomit, a nasty, filthy, McNasty pig that's wallowing in the myrrh, in the slop. That's how it is. That's why you got to look at this for what it is and go for it so that you don't be caught up in the things that we see is happening in this world that's against us and trying to be, you know, truthful and faithful in this walk that we walking, man, this work that we're doing, man. Going back to Ecclesiastes 6, gonna bring some balance here. Verse 14. It says, a faithful friend is a strong defense, and he that hath found such an one hath found a treasure. Nothing does countervail a faithful friend, and his excellency is invaluable. Someone that's really down with you, man. A faithful friend is the medicine of life. A faithful friend is the medicine of life. And they that fear the Most High shall find him. See, that ain't talking about fear the Most High. You're going to be able to find a faithful friend. Whoso fear the Most High shall direct his friendship aright. For as he is, so shall his neighbor be also. You see, that's why he told Ezra to, as he is, so his neighbor be also. That's what he told Ezra in 2nd Ezra 8, and I believe 51. He said, but understand thou for thyself, and seek out the glory for such as be like thee. How was Ezra? Verse 48. And this also thou art marvelous before the Most High, in that thou hast humbled thyself, as it becometh thee, and hast not judged thyself worthy to be much glorified among the righteous. See? He didn't think it was all that. That's why you just heard Michael say, what? I have sinned. That's what we got to say. We have sinned, man. And repent. Ask the Most High forgive us. Proverbs 29:23. I'm just about finished. Oh man, I'm just about finished. Proverbs 29:23. A man's pride shall bring him low. Hear that? A man's pride shall bring him low, but honor shall uphold the humble in spirit. Read you again. A man's pride shall bring him low, but honor shall uphold the humble in spirit. Verse 27, an unjust man is an abomination to the just. An unjust man or woman is an abomination, a filthy wicked act to the just. And he that is upright in the way is an abomination to the wicked. You hear that? They're contrary to each other. They're not going to walk in the same path. They're going to look at you as an abomination, and we're going to look at them as abomination. An unjust man is an abomination to the just. The unjust, he's an abomination to us that's trying to do what we're supposed to be doing and following the Most High's rules and regulations, laws, statutes, commandments. And he that is upright in the way is an abomination to the wicked. Don't get it twisted, man. That's why it says they're coming down on those that keep the commandments of the Most High and have the testimony of Mashiach Yahushua, that remnant, or we the 12 tribes of Israel. So I kind of went over my time right now, so I hope that was edifying for you. I'm gonna continue going on this because I'm just getting warmed up. And tune in to the Sabbath class within a couple of days. And with that, I say the water for joining me and Chrome Most High, power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Chrome of Mashiach Yahushua, the anointed Savior, rise, Most High, rise, anointed Savior, and Chrome Yasharella, rise, Israel. And I'm out. Shalom.